Ale Fonsaje Muna dabo sanka baluo Mbe useni dabo julalema Juloka manla maje Ni aja manla maje Suluo simbeneleda Useni masata Alale ya masandi Barrow da bodima Barrow da bodima Numukunda da bodima Alale bate jola Masole bate jola Ayegambia bondi batakono Imaje molu bele seota Arabe nyinkela Masobe nyinkela Usen botanyani dobo dobo kai Usen anata kombo tumami London
Yo, assalamualaikum baringolo. Tolong saya kalbe contribute ko lain Bantaba bi sibitu no June karo till turning raulo. Mbal konton na bake, bal welcome to program on conventional platform. Today the 17th of June 2023, exactly 19:36 p.m. right now in the UK. 8:36 p.m. in mainland Europe, and it should be 6:37 p.m. in the Gambia. Bal content special edition me alon ko bi nga interview wala sofedang ni Uncle Lare Sisay. Mo jama man lo Uncle Lare lonna. Londi tiba na kudanko wala kudanne. Anana ketan atalon the first secretary general ti kapi mi aya jame bankota bari ama media resigned. Anata duku ke atata international community UN ay duku ke je fari tayata sabe Gambia banko kan afana mu londi ti balati United Democratic Party ka contribution bake patiola policy tarang buluru so be atalon alpha bati in a matter of 23 minutes inshallah I'll be joined via video link, fingers crossed neatra kurang ning stabilized. The other kurang of an hopefully then basically through WhatsApp. Abinala. So balbe konto na bake be duani la program wa tani duakuno bismillahirrahmanirrahim na funda alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Be kachame ngla jam ko men kafri na sike na fati dolbeni lamoy laliye. Satala sen newon tankan ka kuma fa me an ko sina tinyaro samano. Be duala la duan dol fon kelen na dina dembayalu duan na banko fane ko men kaje nyame anina patio sabante frewol fon na do alamani malik fon kele bawo jelal la ban bladi okay mangana bismillah yuri ko man Bantaba tay samedi fukki fan ak juroom ñaar ci wéri june tay nak dañ am special programme bo xamne interview ak Uncle Lare Sisay kelefa bu magla borom xam-xam la nekon first secretary general bu Yaya Jammeh jëlon nguur gi baye mom yagu fa mu resign mu ta and ak Yaya Jammeh after mu dem liggéeyal United Nations liggéey na dëkk yu bari Africa borom xam-xam la am na lot of experience so tey mooy suma gan bu mag nekk UDP Bantaba comme ni ma la wax si soose rek ñaan rek yàlla ñu dugal si programme yi jaama génn si jaama anything la ñu fi wax rek mu nekk lu xam ne dina jur lu baax pour suñu dëkk ñu ñaanal suñu dëkk bi tamit Gambia yàlla jaama yàgg fa suñu parti bi United Democratic Party yàlla jubóobu sax suñu biir lu ñëw 2026 yàlla ñu am ko ñu ngi ñaanal suñu bopp ak suñu njabooti di ñaanal ñu xam ne dañ génn si àdduna yàlla suñu borom may leen àjjana bu sedd bi géegal leen seen baakaar yi bu ma paree si nuyu boobu nag suma gan bi incha allah dina ñëw in now 21 minutes 8 o'clock UK 7 o'clock Gambia waaye lu tax ma invite Uncle Lare last week Uncle Lare Peter Gomez daf ko invite on coffee show moo def pour mu jox reaction moom naka la gisee SONA mooy State of the Nation address bu Adama Barrow def si National Assembly moom jox na xelaatam wax na wax yu am solo waaye unfortunately audio bi mënut a am Peter Gomez mu ne internet outage moo am mënut a record interview boobu noonu ñu bari ñu ngi laajte audio bi. Moving on ñun lu UDP foog na lan nañ lesson su fekkee ne suñu kilifa yi dem nañ any media platform the local guys on the ground should record the interview wala ñu rely on the owner of the media or keneen pour mu recordal ñu suñu kilifa yi suñu demee interview rek UDP media team on the ground because ñoom dañ dee follow rajo yi live kenn ñi record lii si WhatsApp even su fekkee ne bokkuloo si UDP media team yow doomi UDP nga mun ngaa record loolu noonu nga tasaare ko si forum yi comme ñoo xam ne ñu ngi fi diaspora bi fii sax if they do have access to Peter Gomez radio or any other media platform you record loolu because a lot of people we are looking forward to listen to that very important interview why missed opportunity nañ ko am so to sort of try to rectify that Uncle Lare dina ñëw UDP online Bantaba platform UDP pour ñu am waxtaan ak moom lu mu waxoon si coffee show exactly man xëj na duma ko laajte exactly like for like question si Peter Gomez laajte because xaw ma ban question si Peter laaj but man tamit dinaa moom mun naa jox tontuwam yi waxtaanam moom def si rajo bi mun na ko wax fii te dinañ ko record xam nga ñun suñ programme bi moom dinañ ko record suñ ko recordé rek ñu tasaare ko pour Gambien si mën a déggal bani wala ngamen fo sura kan to wala nyinti ko onko Lare Sisay ni loko me ambota kono ten ay kacha kumale shoto West Coast radio Peter Gomez la radio to ba Peter Gomez aka different people will invite watu do like man sekunda la mul invite watu do like politician will invite experts so onko Lare invite prior la radio to ay UDP la reaction comme UDP Adama Barrow la State of the Nation SONA ngaje nyamin so onko Lare tada diam pati to yala ji ba te mo le melon ko lon titi balom ay man sekunda tamon dik nyalonde ay economy fanal long so I think atalong he will be among the best one of the best to represent us o ne anata wo sifalla bari kachani man na record ko Peter Gomez ko ay kolea ko do le sur internet ala radio to so programme ni man na record so atal mo jama man audio ni mo so ngamen voja maybe moving on melbe Gambia nimna alfal bita radio to nim momo wala mo le sa record no bawsa ni technological age me naten hanen defo be nyim programme me naten dol ka record le apart from dolla Bantaba timo mel ka recording dol ka record le so nim momo se record no ibajin kana funi si falla so wala tena binga onko Lare sama nanjan na kachata then ate fanam nata fuko hakile mo me alon ko nyin abela fela kelale ko be ngamen fo jam malon Peter ya nyinin ka role men na mo long so nde o questionol nyinin kala no je exactly but general kachanse o keno janne ko me kachal men ke je civilally ase wor ansal fu no janne ba inshallah do la programme be record lale na record ta se janna formal kono pour kana foni londola ani kacha ay mem fo yinto wolon dalilo ko mari wala nak ni mo UDP platform lati na sama nan jang annum de kare interview wal kala sign de kare mol samala nan janne nala ne ko man sakunda la mol de woltina ja ani nge invite tina abaw ndolla banko la situation be wala nyama ni karimu opposition oti e camera ko muy jawleti bari na ba nyama man sakunda ibe doko ke kan Gambian wolle NPP bu kanyi minister jo Gambian wolle ke jo tol Gambian wolle ke jo ning hani UDP platform ni minister mi invite anyata tala na ba nyama ni hakilo warata bari itol ganyi le joko nyunu mo opponent solleti njawol le mu nyunati so itina la jang ka borin na la bari no manke problem dun tol we are not desperate to have any minister here nimena salam bari tol ben na do ko kelale banko dingol ben la moyla inshallah so janning Uncle Lare kanare ngakacha do mandinke problème be banko kan fitino be banko kan chow wulita Adama Barrow la ñing diamo men aya start ka foko atebe lola le 2026 being a Demba Sabale la interview la moy le brunch and Lamin Cham and Lamin Cham definitely ay Demba Sabale grill bakele program nga bele la moy maji be live but I watched the recorded version and comment analysis will be jamabe men fokan Adama Barrow momo ka Adama trust you are doing it at your own peril comment Adama momo ka Adam ila alana but hoyte famo be tawunte yalla Adama dabu ko to ñafu Adama manke moti me yalon ko is trustworthy momalla ñen la maybe abe mel na fakan the likes of Demba Sabali yo Demba Sabali be wuro men belo platform because abe minister yalla bankola kole ate moje Demba Sabali mo political opportunist already but Demba Sabali la diamo exclusive analysis kala wala de another day wala maybe ni uncle Lare la interview botala ni time o so because I kuma jamale fo interview bari kuma mulun jawya and it seems Demba Sabali for among draft constitutional are rejected nyaming ama faham amalo warta Demba Sabali ko aka même fo Lamin Chamie ako bribe o constitutional reject la UDP le majority of the parliament the guy is clueless among long fanko threshold the 75% threshold to stop that to go into the second reading at a more contextually at a more understand at the UDP le majority so majority voted against the draft constitution Minister Bumburu mode, so-called minister. Alte la mo yani Lamin Cham la intibula ka fa ko ha bari biri constitution be reject la UDP le majority so amalo warata le majority ndolbe ngalo ne ko majority of MPs wolo they supported the draft mele karto fay doing ko lomba ngani UDP ko wol majority ye draft supported bari threshold le biji kemo kono sidula tawro la ni lulu of the MPs, 75% of the MPs mele voting ke wole nyanta vote lanu yes right as second reading. But Demba Sabali man you understand. And Lamin Cham for nyanta I remind now but he knows bakan. Yes, Lamin Cham tried to explain to him called Barrow Moles I debate all the Joe manipulated the MPs put your vote. But Demba Sabali ba foka nebo. But mel be UDP debate all. Alalong ko yung minister la fa hamuro mo wala but like I'm saying it's only under Barrow Demba Sabali is a minister. Somebody like that, before what if yala fa Demba Sabali fisata Barrow tile but atefone angele ko barama oblato I feel nala angele ka ndol jula blood ol barama ngo yo yara bo ñu we ka fukilin ni it's just crazy ngajele dol fo ba to ñe la pronunciation of some of the words premier programme jibe kan but atele fa fisata ada bo atele angele ko be barama ya fanandal aka blood ol barama so I will listen to the interview again. I will somewhat highlight some of those errors in the subsequent edition. But on more substantive issues, Bankoning, Lamin Chamia Batandi in terms of Adama Barrow in town. Morally, Manke Kuti Menyanta. Eko wasle sita jang, Eko President Ol Manyan Tala, Tam Sabanya Unini. But Demba Sabali, very disingenuous. Ako Adama la Tam follow Womu coalition already. Ako Manke MPP la. Tamti ako sa Adamala Sanjululo on MPP was started 2021 ale ñu jëlé dé so sa en kenotu non to lebul Adama be lolale I have explicitly ako Adama be clear candidate and atela foroto ako Adama be win la bari yalla o matela forole ko Adama lota janne ako Bakari Badji be win na CDC be win ako Ibo Faye be win fo win tale ba bari to le lota je ko be win so let nobody be mo kana ñilla ñin diamo ta ya fo ko be win Gambia lol dun nak ku kilimben na kuoto nka tariya manke mobe nka tara discourage la Adama tatam ay lo tutan to lebul na ya jame jindi nyami sa Adama Barrow jindi no but it requires concerted efforts it requires us to come together Honorable Halifa Sallah fana mba tentula mba jayla even though among namata party na fana na diamo jele ala reaction to Adama Barrow SONA ako Adama man diamo ñin dena no men fata waya discourage bakele mbala diamo play la janne in time of je wala maybe Monday insala diamo play Honorable Halifa Sallah adi amta tulu ko fanana ñin tulul men yalon ko spillage tulol men ka bon balkono ako adama man diam wala ako so mon kulo men ka ni to baken so me doy fanan tentula e diam ta SONA ke la reaction udi jene ka banko samba bare adama Barrow ka bondi je nim momo ye mira ko idamma sa ke no le ke fongole nene mba fola jam fongana together UDP ndolon the biggest opposition party to alala kero but we need other people melialonko independence and melialonko mantra patito comme niaji be talib ben sudala ko kete nyamin KMC bolne yalonko mantra UDP benate talib ben suda endorse we need a replica of that in 2026 and tolle bem bulul yelala ngajele ko kirimbasol wultron diaspora e ka fo Barrow must go kacale be ke kalbi and woyen kontani bake do diaspora dingolu mol say mo hani melmanta UDP ka folu lotale e ko fo Barrow e ta comme nga mewuli non ka fo jambe must go say wo denkilo le wulta fo ka fo Barrow must go wo mo kuleti me yalon ka kontano warata bake so wolem wo mo kuleti me yalon ko ali nga continue yakela kana muru koma mo kanata siri yafo ko ha Barrow be election sunyala le yalon annun moving on nalon tango fela nata bari mba donde studio to later be some minutes di lala but I don't studio to le follow onko Lare me menkela wala nyinti ko UDP ila fenko be sia NPP la fenko be sia la counter intelligence be sia la bake ndol membe media melka diamu hakilo today counter intelligence wolom yana college sondomo sunya kal hakilo sunya kal jahasendi pour que vote apathy cause wala nyinti ko Barrow ni election sunya nyame 2021 aba sunya la albo diam si balbe moy wo pour que tol carte faylal kijo forandi pour que gambelol kijo forandi to nya hana jaaje ke sotidi because ni wolom Barrow be KMC win Barrow ni la men ke KMC ni a fero be la ka election ta kam manipulate because ye election manipulate nyame and nga lamin cham je la very important question na nyininka ale lamin cham la programme o nyininka ako demba sabule ko carte kese wuli keme woro 600,000 voters wolu melia fay no presidential election wolle ma fay parliamentary now council election chairmanship ako wolle how come wolle disappear after adama campaign akay go even it because demba sabale kay ne hani lawyer dabo from campaign tale akay okay let's take it that lawyer dabo campaign tale mama kande campaign tale adama Barrow campaign was carte kese wuli keme woro li tata min tole so amanje ansano atebe insist kan ko foreigner me double election to 900,000 voters so le me register they all Gambians in fact abe men foka ko rohilo won on attestation ako illegal attestation at la diamo bar lamin chamia jakandila kay ko bar ni wolom atolu fanan presidential election al kalo li sefol wolle ka attestation di ko attestation latina Barrow fana winta te man so wolto barako grupo do leta Supreme Court wol ko rohilo was illegal so ate lafta sembila walla so e kataake je men dinkata baake so programme ala la moy very interesting tenga la moy and nga ku de malaka de ba demba sabali wol dol man imam banko kanu e la palaso yewoleje in fact akate man la fi UDP la UDP ate man UDP support wala na te joint NPP because during GDC ni NPP UDP e blola nyoka by election auto ate aje ko mama kande sutia bata UDP la le wala ate kamfa ate ala forot ay wala fo and be ngalo ngo manke tonyati ni adama Barrow mantra man sekunda demba sabali to join the NPP ni adama mantra president yala demba sabali to join the NPP ni ata mama kandele be president yala wo barakote adama Barrow la ka bondi kanyim bondi GDC ngo dem wabe tula GDC demba sabali mu opportunity storage bari mina kacha dundila programme to na on dunta on ko Lare Sisay dunta na de sign ina kacha from start diamo start tijang no kacha demba sabale la interview wombo analysis specifically aninka yamaro mendi bari tolu gambenolu ni manke chahani kuti barola tatam samanjango o not atutan tolle bulu asembo ben tolle bulu me diamo lambari banjul kolé suma mbokay neka banjul melbe KMC melbe West Coast LRR URR NBR CRR Flu North and South URR ali nga banko je nga dunia ye kodi nyin ta tamla nyin fitino le Senegal nin la fita bola je Gambia ali nga na together nga Adama Barrow la mas kuna dang through democratic means or through the votes nga sindi dula killing nin kito bina la man sekunda tinyarol menketa then it also okay bari bawo say wato sitale on ko lari futata studio to le say bari nga bismillah anin audience le ñoo konto nga dum ka ca kono budu malam fo mani palato balare nga dalale ba fo biski dol lora dalale ba ngana la yalla si sekunda gol la tol kay be dawda domoro rek gol lari bismillah
Zewi iba kande anyway
yari
domoro mantana mandi moro ndebe sundinne
je mandi moro la ka sunne bari ka vale li mori huh?
Well, ndemo mandi moro anyway good evening to your listeners and all the UDPians out there. It's good to be back, Sehu. I think Nsada Waterphone Paretela program was that. I'm glad to be back here again.
Angolari abarka bakete manke jallum tanti so manta through introduction again he met in other Bantaba time and time again and Gambia fana mo jamae lonje mo jamae program o jibele lonje so ngadum kata ko Angolari ni lokun tambila itata West Coast Radio.
Yes.
Peter Gomez ye invite kachala pour yela miranyal tandi president we dia momenke State of the Nation address SONA. Bari mon nata molu jahal ji comment technical issue la kadaje according to Peter Yax be nyamen interview ni man na record. So bari nse nyininka maybe mbeduna nyin kacha kono doman one by one ite adamala dia mo de nyaadile. Bari nse nyininga overall ye banko la situation de nyaadi la sa comme botan ni recent election moment tom ite ya de nyaadi ye banko la ko de nyaadi in local government election
there are three things that most are for no kusaba in local government election or most be from a prism of three angles saba angle follow Koya for nyame yela program that nyame presidential election baroka 400 something thousand nesoto kodi yo 400 something thousand banko la dolta winter je Hani Jawara at his peak did not win in those areas. Meaning he won all 53 constituencies in the country.
Yeah.
Result of all of it.
Yeah.
It's an unprecedented win.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ngalonko, the borders were porous.
Yeah.
They did not close the borders for the election to be free, fair, transparent. So, that's item one. Item fulanjam. Local government election or not. I have carte o men be sota be tata min. Coming lam ika program o men foten. Yala minister nyinin ka men na manje jabi nola. Ni molte woto jabi nola because ya lon ne men keta. So ite ko winter landslide sort of 53 constituencies. Yeah, they win. Local government election and you managed to get just slightly below half of that.
Yeah.
And then the council mayoral election nata, chairmanship or nata, hello, to Abolka we swept his body on the floor. Nga boile fonga biriminint in the bankoto on those local government elections. What does that tell us about election integrity?
In 2021.
Yes. Along election integrity is so important in a country's living space. Let me put it that way. Banko manankunya ka bete a natra ko mole karte o fay nyamen karte o kasabita wole nya menu ganyeta mo kana bulukonde chodi mola ni be bulukonde chodi la mola fana ke bulukonde sutumuta kana ke bulukonde jangamat.
Yeah.
So election integrity tije. Wala nanteko, there is no way Barrow and his NPP can win a free, fair, transparent election in the Gambia. Atije. Andu amanke ko amalong ibe alone hani ning me ba interview la alone because ala colleague minister, former colleague minister malo audio to or video to move aka fo ngamenke ngalone ntolbe winna. Ni aje ba fo lebe lo lebe mol iba fo la mole ko ngamenke ntol ngalone be winne be jigiri munel.
Ya kule ke be jigiri menade.
Exactly. Then Sidi Njanyol Dol Tata platform Dol to they basically said the same thing. Nte kabru wotole na antana wiltanko ñu leñi election no suñale before we even went to the polls.
Exactly.
So but that is beside the point. Now the dunia men konotek. The global scenario. Niaje I said among vision soto bankoe. Dunia kono 3 or 4 things are pushing the world in very different directions these days. Munamuati, the post-World War II international system, UN system, the way we knew it, and the UN system, the way it is operating now, are as different as night and day. UN system is under stress. Security Council, ibuka d'accord no kuto. General Assembly, the votes are there. A cartel issue nata mole bankole cartel fight. That's the end of it. Abukata to the implementation level, and then climate change. Yalong walungi ko sanjo ketabase ay dulal betina. For more alongo, climate change futata temboto me alongo na very existence is under threat. Nyulukanyin san mining menke Combo South. These Chinese fish meal factories. These are all combinations of environmental destruction that is going to destroy this country in the very near future. And then, of course, there is the issue of regional stability and insecurity. Regional stability, security, ECOWAS, Niajibe, the constitution, ibe mola constitutional change la, ibe tatam impose la molkan, fitino binadulal totari. And then ECOWAS Muriko, we are now going to put up an anti-coup d'etat unit. Before you put up an anti-coup d'etat unit, why don't you put up an anti-unconstitutional regime unit?
Absolutely. Well, that is it. Exactly.
You are messing with the constitution. You are tinkering with it. You are changing. Nim coup d'etat kede ko no coup d'etat kanak. But nita be constitutional change like it's okay. It is a constitutional change. Ye fan self perpetuate. This is
ECOWAS and Africa ya wara tabak.
Hey, ECOWAS fa ngonte buka wala kumofo kotek. Niaje mbukela kumofo. Just look at the structure. You look at who is sitting where, and you realize that we are in real serious trouble because Nunto, Ndebe Southern Africa wato men, they used to commend me for the work ECOWAS was doing in maintaining regional peace, security, and stability. Saibo Bukasoto. So ECOWAS has become an all boys club. African Union has also become an all boys club. So where does that leave you and I, the ordinary guy on the street? Ninkudeta ketambe mune knowledge. And then of course the issue of putting all these factors into consideration and having a vision for the Gambia. As an economist, Gambia is classified variously as a least developed country.
Yeah, LDC.
And LDC. Now, at Mojama Malong, at independence, Gambia, Ghana, Botswana, Singapore, South Korea were at the same level of development.
True.
In 1965. Being Telsun no compare Nova.
And a big gap level meeting of them.
Yeah, Singapore has now become a small developed country. South Korea has become a developed country. Ghana is a middle income country. Botswana is an upper middle income country. In almost 65 years, we are still stuck at LDC.
Agam da mantamo mangunu mo fon start for uncle. Dal mangunu mo fon start.
Yo sako katama. Yeah. So nte jela munna issue with the fact that nimol mang vision soto. Ikaw interview men quote ako UDP la vision ateteo accept nola. Well, hello, he is in the stone ages because UDP la manifesto the 5-point agenda everybody who has read it and you are fair and honest to your intellect, you say, yes, this is a blueprint for taking the country somewhere that is different. Amam name for draw he's a bigot.
Uncle, exactly. Allow me coded language, lady, but yalong.
It's a coded language.
More man get before him, being alone what he meant because later on, I meant for UDP is a violent party. I don't know for violent, but recently, Jumale journalist all booty.
Exactly.
Jumale journalist.
And Himalik supporters. Jumale Anim Talib supporters. Jumale all attack and all of that.
Exactly.
So when I interview, I insisted on Peter. I said, listen, the narrative has to change.
Yeah.
UDP is a peace-loving, peaceful bunch of people. The violent, bigoted ones are the NPPs. And the new election has shown that. So we now need to turn the table on them and paint them for who they are. A party of bigotry and a party of violence, deceit, and lying. Now,
even what that manifested during the campaign, and in fact, while UDP candidates were talking about policies, comment Talib and others, policy the NPP ila campaign bigotry le even ka Taliban so that for foreigner. La me chama nyini ka wala ko how well at he doesn't subscribe to that. Okay, but Alma condemn. So
exactly.
And he started giving excuses how but that shows these people are the different. They have a very low.
No, these people are complicit, they are duplicit. Complicity vigil, duplicity vigil. And I liked saying to them that you speak from both sides of your mouth.
True.
You want to have your cake and eat it at the same time. I don't subscribe to that, and yet you don't condemn it.
Yeah.
So they don't have anything to offer us. What they have to offer us is basically misleading, misinformation, disinformation, and also a system that is corrupt to the core. Yalonte nunto nkatara derinde benna ko kela in the side na ideas movement in case amba party transfer. But I've reached a level where Sehu and everybody who is listening, if you are an intellectual out there, start speaking out on these structural issues.
Yeah.
If we don't debate these structural issues, flesh them out, and get to the bottom of the rot that is in our system, there is no way this country can move forward. I act on the basis of what my kids push me to. Nothing daddy, your generation sold us out. And they are right. We sold them out.
Yeah. True.
We sold them out. We banko mem tule bulu abekela banku tinyare mulete. Kawo banku tinyare dada fente kola allowed. So janin tela dindi ulba fola neko teke daddy, your generation sold us out. We are going to be the ones to salvage you guys. I'm going to do my damnedest before I go. Walanga started to speak out. And then the party also, you can invite. The man invite, a party le invite.
Your party le invite, yeah.
Specifically, party leader. Party leader le kumanda konye ko kongata into to but you go and give another viewpoint, because until a viewpoint has been going on for some time. Now, it'll come muta dronko. This Lare Sisay. Imam fensoto nka menu for is a menu dispute no, except for to attack you personally.
Yeah. Uncle Larry, Minala Jele, Uncle Larry, Dolen text, Yalo Modo, they are very concerned. You want to have a voice, but Dole text, Akonga for a camera adjust demanding. Ikuye Sele Santo demanding. They want to see you properly. Ila Aguela camera adjust, Puila, I Sele Santo demanding. Amela camera with Finkerin, Malon for.
Slow than Ntekam Fanjel.
No, it's okay. Okay, that's fine. Uncle Larry, Abarakake. Mina SONA tele, but Mbading on Albela Maka Bantaba live interview with Uncle Lare Sisay. Me along go Amanka Luntanti Gambia Mojamala along. I do okay UNDP, Alpha Londi Tiolemati, Alpha Fanamu UDP Patiokono. First Secretary General Yajamal Mansakuna, Yajaman Keno, another international community. Well, I wealth of experience, Mansakuna Tamanya Kunani, economy la Karabi. We're going to have great wisdom during the program of Babana. But I love the men for Mel lines will yell later. I told Mel love to Uncle Larry in a question. I will take some questions as a question on meaning can. So I just want to make, but allow us to have a conversation first. The later audience will for another after question on meaning you can call to WhatsApp. Okay, thank you for watching. Uncle Larry, Janin Bitala SONA.
Yeah.
Recently, Gambia Finance Minister CD Keita.
Yeah.
It had a radio station of Entara Jele, a coffee show.
The following day, the
following day, Atela audio or Funtitale. I did have Funtitale anyway. Never all Peter my internet problems. So, buddy, CD Keita, first of all, I've been in Gala, like Diamo Yadi, because CD Keita, I see Kongo Paleke Ko, Atemeng Akiv, and I have view. Success men keraje ako kabirin Gambia ya fon soto Minister of Finance namana wo soto si Uncle Larry biyan kumo mo yaje nyaadi
no ndefa kabirin CD auto for I switched off from the program. Honestly, I switched off from the program. Yalo meatina I switched off from the program.
Yeah,
it seems to me either he forgot conveniently the recent development economic history of the country, or that he is plain misleading people. Now, I remember in the early 80s, the ERP era that the late Honorable Sirif Sekuba Sise had initiated in this country. Jumale hakiloyo otoma.
Yeah.
Natol men hakiloyo otoma albalo nako. Within those 5 years, Gambia has successfully graduated from all supported IMF and World Bank support programs called the ISAFs.
Yeah.
5 years in a row.
Yeah.
Now that achievement is world renowned because Harvard University International Institute for International Development, the head there, Malcolm McPherson is the name, used to be Uncle Sirif's economic advisor. And he teaches Gambia's achievements in the ERP as a global example of good ERP planning. Now, Sidi Nata, ako atemeng achieve, monenemo achieve. Fine, atela viewle moti. But atemeng achieve, fanga achieve because of a waiver. They had to waive a certain aspect of the conditions that the IMF imposed on them, and that particular condition a waiver is settling their arrears.
Yeah.
So ite yela arrears ima settle ya waive ye.
Yeah.
Ika for alinga celebrate because we managed to achieve something that has never been achieved before. Yes, we managed to achieve something that has never been achieved before, and that is that you graduated from an IMF-supported program based on a waiver. Gambia has never achieved that before.
Gambia has never achieved that. That's the best way to put it. Yalong Uncle, there is one thing that stands out in Mansakunda and it's becoming a norm for them. If you got for President will start Minister will start cases all conquer. And look at the minister that it looks like there is a big the similarity that cuts across all of them. Well, maybe it's a way to keep their jobs, okay? Because Bremen Temba Sabale for Nigeria can be afana mbasi so konkona nganye ka agriculture nyina mananke comme Sidi Keda be men fokande but Sidi Keda very disrespectful to the late Lare Sisay and others wolu Sidi ta fon compare with wolu duk wol menke Gambia successfully graduated out of the ERP structural engagement programs with more cool the color you remember during the PPP government with more cool and again even with Jame as worse as Jame was Mamiran Nanatada where Gambia $100 million bond in the reserves Puruka the business community. Amanke on the Jame and Jame la Mansakunda face sanctions. You understand? Sanctions, we know that because military government European Union was not among friendly, the USAID, they stopped aid. But Jame managed with everything. Namananta, the situation was in that bad for us to take $100 million from our reserves. And so it's really disingenuous on the part of Sidi Keita. But in the when it comes to Sidi Keita, Ndebuka Jamfaje, because Chile underperformed that trade. Remember, this is the minister that came out called Senegal La Poro, uncle. Ako Senegal La Poro, who is an advantage to Ghana. Yeah, so Birai of on this Chile, actually, nga muta nunda be found demanding nga be boli. Because this guy, yalong kanyang certificate also. Aning ihakilo wara, aning you're sharp at your job. They are two different things. Iman killing. You understand? So, but uncle, Janim betala SONA again. Yeah.
Before ngata SONA to. Nte. I give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And I give every one of these people the benefit of the doubt, including the president.
Yeah.
But when they make pronouncements which are borderline disinformation, misinformation, I think as intellectuals, we need to speak out in the most stringent terms possible so that they know that we are not sleeping. Now, you can performances men for them. Sirif Sise, HR Monday Jr. Those guys were giants.
Yeah.
TGG Senghor. They were giants in the central bank and the macroeconomic history of this country. You cannot just say because I got a waiver on an IMF item, so I've achieved something that none of those people have achieved. Come on, where the hell are we going as a country?
Yeah. Very condescending on the part of Sidi Keita. But uncle
and disrespectful to the memories of those individuals.
Exactly. But now Tumando ala technocrats they probably misled him. I don't know. Because Sidi Sidi probably yalo model with dogo they want to make their bosses happy. Safai Honorable Minister, this is the first time Gameni Aki, so he just went along with that. Possibly.
Say unte I don't buy that anymore. I don't buy that. Everything that is happening in this country that the government is doing, the ministers, the permanent secretaries, is the responsibility of the president. The buck stops with him.
Yeah, true.
Everything the Minister of Finance says is his responsibility because the buck stops with him.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So not a fan hakiloko IMF. That's fine, but it's our responsibility to teach him a little bit of the recent macroeconomic history of the country.
Yeah.
To say to him, you are saying this, but these guys achieved the same thing 5 years in a row under Sirif Sisay, and even under Sekou Sabali and Bakari Dabo as ministers of finance, they achieved these things. Gambia was paying its international and national debts to zero. Mang area soto. And this is one of the things that we tend to forget in this country. Who put the country on the right track? The people who have derailed that is Jammeh's second 5 years to the end, to the time that he left, and Barrow in 7 years. So they are responsible for what is happening in this country. Whether they accept that responsibility or not is another thing. But I think intellectuals need to start putting the feet of these people to fire to let them know that Gambians are sick and tired of being misinformed and disinformed about certain things. Now, the finance minister Tafokane, President Omanta Kuntimbang, I mune for Kunting. Ama foko that Pasimas Lamen Kotoro that teleofeng. Kabiro be Barrow was collecting rent. Jawara be negotiate la wato Barrow was collecting rent.
Tonya.
Nimobe Tonya for leba for la Jawara leo negotiate. Jameo actualize. Atea inaugurate. The only thing he did about it is to inaugurate it. Kafoko nga electricity nati is the same thing. Jame started it, he inaugurated it. Now, why am I saying this? Next door, Senegal, Macky Sall, Kabra keta president, Jamnya jo yele, or airport kuto ya yele, and the economic zone within the context of this Senegal Imajan. He paid tribute to Ablaye Wade as the person who conceptualized it. And he respected Ablaye Wade's contribution and memory. To say, yes, but the person who actually conceived it and made it possible is my predecessor. Why can Barrow just be humble enough to say that?
Because he's not honest, Uncle. Barrow is dishonest. Yalo Hadamadingonama honest drum. Don't expect him to do something. Because even the Senegambia bridge, the same thing, he could have actually, recognized that APRC government actually, as a Jamme Fanana role, but everything.
I mean, it's public knowledge that they discussed it in cabinet. Pour la name ke Transgambia ateleko Senegambia bridge. But what of for? It's true. The feasibility studies for that bridge, Anim Barrage, was initially done by Jawara. In 1982, 83, 84. Now alone, precisely because I was an economist at the National Sales Secretariat with Dr. Walindao at the time, in the office of the president. Feasibility study ketal. Niaja Mallo, the environmental impact of the barrage was what Jawara took to cabinet and said, no, we can't do this. But Jame came, did something smart. He got the barrage out of it and decided to do the bridge. Atele and bridge na financing negotiate. Fabe bulata mirankon. Bridge no lota. At the time it was being inaugurated, it wasn't ready. Bari Barobe makile mako ekang for Kasama's votes. Inaugurate bridge o mampare. Bari they did not acknowledge the role of his predecessor in realizing that project.
That is the hallmark of Adama Barrow saying what for a mal address wallet. Adaji call what he but I come mulka address wallet. But I fanang ala address all for the media all ninety. At a hasidi at a level come more cool from our credit give where credit is due. But anyway, Uncle, say let's quickly shift to SONA. But before we go to SONA again, I look at you were under the radar, on the spotlight from NAWEC. Your Diamo level on NAWEC did not take that in a positive way, and in fact they tried to discredit EMM4. They challenge you. EMM4 was misleading, but eventually you got vindicated. Uncle, can you give us synopsis of in NAWEC la buru haketa muneti? Mune fota ye mune fo no NAWEC la iko Senelek kal kudo men jo Senelek and NAWEC la managing director came out to say that wasn't true, but then they did not email us them no debunk with facts. Imam fem bondi ben katande mo la ko ila information was wrong.
Yalo member ko to sehu. They operate on the basis of personalities, personal politics. And insults and in discrediting. Nte NAWEC issued that in 2016 when I first relocated back into the country. Momo and Facebook page, in Twitter, normal. I have always been on NAWEC's case. I have always been on Gamtel's case. The difference between the two, Ninga Gamsel, Ninga criticize, they respond. Sometimes they'll even call me on the phone and say, yes, you are right, this is happening, but this is why it is happening. Ndeka appreciate la ndunka fintindile ngai jayala. NAWEC buka okay. Now, what is the learning interview time? Mune for nawek ma. Ama for nawek mu bankola problem ol. Yo, nte yalo nte maof. Nte nga men for drone wale mnyintiko. Nawek la areas and even the contractual arrangement with Senelec and in car power is unsustainable. And it's unsustainable because Nawe can only produce about 46.5% of our electricity needs. Out of 100 megawatts, they can only produce 46% of that. The other 53% is being produced by the West Africa grid, Senelec, and Inca Power to combine. But my issue is, at what cost to the economy? How much is it costing the country with NAWEC continuing to contract these people to provide power? Why are we not investing in our local infrastructure so that for our own national security interests, we have an infrastructure that is second to none that can actually power our economy?
Yeah.
This is my only issue with NAWEC. Near call personalized, let them personalize it. Yeah. But I want to say this thing once and for all. I have no issues with NAWEC.
Yeah.
I know a lot of good men and women who are working, breaking their backs for NAWEC every day. And honestly, when you compare their salary scales to the salary scales of their managers, they are earning peanuts. So what those individuals, even new wall lefai kanyoka. Ndadu ni wall mang issue soto. Nga issue men soto do wala ibe company ni manage kanyame. Nga issue soto. So what in the SONA, I said I am proposing a very radical solution to NAWEC. And Peter jumped on me. Oh, are you going to say it? I said yes. I'm going to say it because I have seen other countries do it before. What is that radical, quote unquote, solution for NAWEC? Break NAWEC up into 4 different entities. Power generation, power distribution, power transmission, and in water. And engage in this public-private partnership arrangement where, because of national security issues, the government has controlling interest in all 4 entities. You can create one board for them, or you create an independent board for each one of them with their consequent management structures. This is possible because NAWEC Learning current business model is not working.
Yeah.
And if a business model is not working since the company turned into NAWEC to now, don't you think it makes a whole lot of sense to rethink another business model? I don't even care if they don't agree with what I'm suggesting. Let them just come out with another business model that can free NAWEC's resources so that those resources can be invested productively in creating the infrastructure grid for our electricity and water.
But Uncle, before we go into the some of those technicalities, Lafida, Kuriya Jabakase Water Gambian Wali, right now NAWEC capacity for Mujallet. It will lack capacity. And it capacity to outsource.
NAWEC is only producing 46.6% of the country's electricity needs. 46.3%.
So I come there to generate will be at 46% left. 46 megawatts.
It generate 46.6%, and this is actually very accurate representation of ila capacity now. 46.6%. Yalo 46.6%. Our peak demand is 100 megawatts. So, Nitela peak demand 100 megawatts letika, you are only producing 46.6% of that. Are you really energy independent? You are not energy independent. And based on the information that I have, NAWEC has 3 generating sets in Kotu that are currently working. 3. 2 generating sets in Brikama. 2 generating sets in Brikama 1 generating set from Brikama 2, and 2 generating sets from Brikama 3. These are power stations. Now, those power generations combined only delivers 46.6 megawatts for the country. Now, the remaining 90 some megawatts is divided almost equally between the West Africa grid 30 megawatts, Senelec 30 megawatts, Car Power 30 megawatts. Now, for the Senelec component, we are paying $1.7 million a month to Senelec. We are paying something slightly more than that to Car Power.
So $1.7 million. $1.7 million in dollars.
Yes, $1.7 million. The equivalency in CFA is about 1 billion CFA a month.
So you only for NAWEC director what among so wala. That's it.
Among other things, what I'm talking about is day to day. This is what is happening month to month. What I referred to in my previous interview is to say there are areas with Senelec is so much that it's unsustainable. For the CDMA wale confirm they have to waive that areas so that they can graduate on the ISA.
Wow.
issue in that first.
What about 100 million? That's about $100 million. That's a lot of money. That's really
a lot of money. Yeah. Anybody who is concerned about the future of this country has to be concerned about this, because NAWEC is the single most important existential threat to the country.
But in a cooking Uncle Larry, maybe you might get a view, you want a view, and I would express it. Now on the Conca Kibarol memory. I'm not surprised that CD cater for in regards to NAWEC, because vested interest level CD has got his friends, some of these business entrepreneurs. Animal can hang out, I can launch. We know that. We know Gambia is a small country. CD wolo lafita kanani one time when they try to put nani jora ka eliminate. They want to fight against nani. So CD, for him to come out and say that, I'm not surprised, because CD another cabal. You know, they have their views, they Italian own businessman of the Gambia. Wolo it all lafita the whole economic setting, you have to control. And NAWEC, they're keeping eye on NAWEC, saying they have got grip over our telecoms, telecommunications. So now they want to also control NAWEC, bring in people there, it also remote control. So they don't see eye to eye. And CD the whole agenda push. CD made that comment, because it's really it doesn't make sense. Finance minister coming out having a go at NAWEC. Yeah, I understand in such a manner, but I know NAWEC has got issues, and like you said, this is unsustainable. And NAWEC is a burden. Areas is a burden on the economy. It needs to be addressed.
It's a drag. As an economist, the right language is it's a drag on the economy.
Exactly.
And let me put another angle to this. Ika sidi la network along, but it's a vivid example of a dysfunctional government.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's a tarla government at that level you are criticizing the other arm of the government, which is part of the executive.
Exactly.
It shows dysfunctionality.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that is it. They have different interest groups in government. And
exactly.
They all,
Now, see the finance minister NAWEC comment. It wasn't surprising to me, because na SONA response natra nunko yo audio bondi. it will give a bunch of them sleepless nights, because I went into details to analyze what is happening and what the potentials could be. It's too bad what happened. But no question mark to the government, not necessarily to city. Yeah, you are celebrating a $6 million loan because a condition was waived for you.
It's
You're
laughable.
celebrating.
It's absolutely laughable.
Yes, but 1 week before that, you went before Parliament and asked for a supplementary of 25 million. Muna Gambia economy is healthy. Don't you think we should be able to write a $25 million check?
We should. Yeah.
The economy is not healthy. There is no foreign reserves. We are just going day by day. And these two coincidences, monkey coincidence, going before Parliament to get a supplementary for 25 million and getting the IMF the following week to give you a loan for 6 million, basically tells me you are insolvent.
Absolutely.
Because if you are solvent and your foreign reserves are healthy, you should be able to pay your bills, and more importantly, you should be able to write a check for 25 million.
Yeah. Uncle Larry is saying, like I said, Nana SONA, ye Kachal Menke Peter Gomez, maybe it's summarized no more later because we missed out that audio. Malum Peter in question all men, I can't tell you in like to like case of question, but it's summarized no. Ye Kachal Menke Peter in Gamma, this I remember, so that this can be recorded and the audio so people to understand. Peter in obviously take us through in Peter conversation of Kerajami.
Nim Peter conversation started with the president has done his SONA. Yes, the president has done his SONA, but in paragraph 3 of the president's SONA, he's reporting on legislative year 2023, when actually he's reporting on legislative year 2022.
So basically, Barrow, so that one on the first error, instead of addressing legislative year 2023 at a but actually, I mean, legislative year 2022.
He's reporting on legislative year 2022.
How could the office of the president make such a schoolboy error? How did that?
No, what that has shown is that our speech writers have let him down by not even identifying correctly the reporting year. But what it also shows is that even if you use the F word there, he will say it.
Uncle Mbala, so Uncle Mbala, yeah, that's one thing.
Nala speech writers wo mistake oje. So the Secretary General BJ, the Chief of Staff BJ.
No, your Secretary General, Uncle Larry, Secretary General, your sideline. You call the so I keep your staff.
Well, but you see the impact. An honest senior civil servant would have picked up that kind of a mistake.
Yeah.
So again, that's another layer of dysfunctionality.
So the first blunder I didn't realize is the.
Now I follow realize the reporting here is wrong. Secondly, in his paragraph 4 or 5, we should not mistake his SONA to be a sector report. But then in paragraph 8, he goes around and says, well, the sector report is an assessment of, the SONA is an assessment of the sector performance of my government. So seriously, on the one hand,
Uncle, hold on a minute. Seriously, you telling me that Adamala's speech, this is not a sectoral report, but then further down the line, this is
exactly. Exactly. Paragraphs 3, paragraphs 8.
Wow.
I'll check.
I have the SONA here. I will check it. I have
check
SONA.
Check paragraph 3 where he got the reporting year wrong, and then check paragraph 8 where he says don't mistake this for a sector activity report, because it is not. But then down the line, he says, what I'm doing is to tell you
Paragraph,
sectorally.
so Uncle, let's go by one by one. Which paragraph, like, oh, this is not sector. Which paragraph is that?
Paragraph 3, like, oh, this is reporting on legislative year 2023, when it should be 2022.
Yeah, no, like, Mr. Speaker, lest my address is mistakenly perceived as an activity report. Let me explain that it is precise outline of how my government failed in the 2023 legislative year. Yes, I've seen that. So let's go to paragraph 8 now.
Go to paragraph 8.
Yeah, you are right. Paragraph 8, as customary, the address focuses on the sectors, and I will begin with the finance.
Yo, muna bank sector report.
These people are you idiots. Honestly, Uncle, this shows the love bank because you make speech of it, they just copy and paste. Yalan may realize. You can copy and paste like a computer. You can all last year's speech, they just copy and paste. Barrow man kalamuda, Barrow ikadiate la rekaida.
Nka wole fo nko ko ni fen safe abe wole read la. Yalo ngao for Peter in off record. Nka ko Peter ko. Nka ko I can identify at least 2 or 3 ministries many along ko. Ila previous SONA li only cut and paste ya di Barrow la kote ki after
you're right. Yeah.
Nka akonye ko no iba fola nka no nta fola nka ninga fo wole that would become the focus of the arguments they are going to put forward to try to discredit me. It's so important. I don't want to be sidetracked on who is cutting and pasting. But it but laughter I think no what it about dila.
Okay, let's go through. Yeah, let's go through further than Lando. So you're for Peter and then let's continue.
Then I came to the substance of the SONA. Yalong ideally, Malo Unane Kafa a State of the Nation address or national yearly address to Parliament and stuff. I don't know the genesis of all of that. Ngalong ka dasite jawara lakai. But Bankol Menia Lonko a substantive leader soto. They use the SONA as an occasion for crystallizing their vision of where they want to take the country. True. That particular legislative year and subsequent legislative years. So Ngama Jelelango, if he had a vision for the country, the SONA should have been crafted around that. And if he is crafting the SONA around that, he has to take 4 international factors into consideration as part of that vision, or to be the foundation for that vision. Now 4 international phone call highlight, meaning the post-World War II international order being under stress, climate change and its impact on our livelihoods, the Russian-Ukrainian war and its disruption of the supply chain leading to high cost of living, high fuel prices, low agricultural productivity. And then I ended it by saying, we tend to beat our chests. Sako President Barrow, last year he says he gave a fuel subsidy of $1.6 billion. So I have to structurally analyze that statement to say, yes, people use subsidies in order to defray the cost of living for citizens. But you are an economist. You know that subsidies are regressive taxes.
Yeah.
A regressive tax does not benefit everybody in the country. It just benefits a certain sector of the society. In this case, fuel subsidy Kajumal benefit mostly the oil marketing companies,
OMCs.
And you and I with cars. The ordinary person on the street, Abuka affect. In fact, it creates the obverse of that.
Yeah.
In the sense that the transport owners will increase their prices. Those who use public transport will have to pay more and stuff. So I'm saying, instead of just focusing on hammering on I gave subsidies, yes, give those subsidies because the sector that you are giving it to need it, but also do some targeted social investments, which targets the ordinary person on the street to say, if you go to the market to buy your onions, your rice, your oil and stuff, this can help you do it. We are not doing that. Now, I also said, earlier, remember, in 2017, 2018, they gave the customs duty waiver to the food importers.
Yeah.
They could bring food items into the country duty-free. Ostensibly, that was supposed to reduce the cost of living. It hasn't. It has actually exacerbated it. It has increased it, and it has exponentially increased it. In economic terms, you know what I'm talking about.
Exponentially, yeah. Uncle, ni kanyang tabi nila jusol for back, isa nyo min goal feeling so exponentiality.
Yes, but they understand that ni tata Marcel to be nying kaniba iba soto la $50 is lel killing. Now kaniba nunto benyuaro ika $50 soto sai nika soto $50 is lel. That should tell you something. Exponentially bijel.
Yeah.
And then of course the cost of rice, the cost of flour, the cost of cooking oil. And onions. The price of a bag of onion is almost the same as the price of a bag of rice.
But uncle, before I tell me that, ngaje Demba Sabali bi ako Adama ye manu dajin di Gambia le anin Tulu ako Barola initiative la ako manu bijele. Obviously different on the brand. You know, for perfume long for malamuna. Ako baroka mano wafi malam for 1,000 for 500 or something. So is that true that the baro mano wafi kan banko kanye? Is a low price?
The Gambia he's describing is not the Gambia I'm living in.
Because any media, any news outlet, they must have a level of they have outlets. Yeah,
this is the misinformation, disinformation side of things. Ikaw mem for ye Barrow Media Network on their Facebook page to say rice is available at a discounted price somewhere. That was just this week. Remember, in 2017, as a matter of social policy, what have we done in order to help my people in Kudang to be able to walk into a shop, buy a bag of rice, and it's not $2,000?
Yeah.
This is my issue. Kudang is relatively well off because of Namol.
Yeah, Japanese Fatunyan drama about Foka. Japan. I suspect Japanese rice like Mendina was an aid. Yeah, that must be the Japanese rice. I got Japanese rice one.
But even that Seku, let's take it at face value. The Japanese gave us that rice to donate to the poor. They didn't give it to us to sell it.
Demba Sabali today, I found because one of the conditions the Japanese gave that rice that it must be sold. In fact, Wafi, they have an account, it's agriculture, and in the Japanese embassy in Dakar, it will account on your monitor. I've never heard of that. But that's what he said. It's a condition put by the donor country that the rice must be sold. I always be careful.
Okay, let's say that is true. Let's say that is true. If they sell that rice, where do the proceeds go?
We don't know. Logic to an account.
This is the I'm not going to call it ingenuity because that will be giving them a lot of credit. This is the disingenuity of these individuals.
Yeah. And if
Japan in China nenema mano dinna on the basis that it goes to a special account. If it goes to a special account, that special account is supposed to help subsidize agricultural production.
But y'all for understand. This is you donated rice, let's say. Obviously, you didn't spend any money in importing the rice. You didn't pay duty on the rice. So if you are bragging, for 1,000 and something, which is very close to the market price, 1,000, So, where is the help for the poor Gambian? Because if you are selling it at $700, then most Africa, okay, this is at least the government is giving this.
Or even 500.
Even $500 that's what I would think. Yeah, well, African lula, but why over 1,000? They are going go mano and go you didn't even find your own shipment, even duty joala. So why are you selling it over 1,000? You see, I expected Lamin Cham to pin him down on that. That price is expensive because Nimu donated rice. Ni monkey mano to me alongo. Niata no menko ya harvest you obviously incur cost of fixed and variable cost. Yeah, I understand. Total cost will go up. Then it's go, okay, I'll add some margin of profit, program the cost new finger. But but anyway, this is this government. So let's not belabor too much on that. So let's go into okay.
Then I moved away from the subsidy issue.
Yeah.
I went to the social sectors: health, education, water, sanitation. Now, if you talk to anybody in this country, the healthcare system is nearing collapse. There are no medications in the healthcare facilities. In the healthcare center dolfola nkapu den nkanin kapo je nkadu ndeg Gambia kapo nkata health centers nyolto in the rural areas nga moto park nga tama nga taje nkungle kandima limma koy paracetamol. They cannot give you paracetamol.
Wow.
Nsita fo health center lul ndara dula do to wente sutele ko nyoko bari fotel te onkul la reti nkai kana tempo mo mfelen bita.
So, Uncle, this is serious. Health center paracetamol.
Yes, we are dependent again on Senegal for the most crucial basic healthcare service delivery system, meaning diagnosis. Jama ni diagnose, the diagnosis is wrong. And you don't blame the technicians. They don't have the equipment or the training to diagnose properly. So you go to Senegal. I experienced it. Enough close family members are diagnosed. It was a serious misdiagnosis. No. Alinga Senegal try. Kabri ya diagnosis benjele kanne. Jumale yin diagnose penkete. Ibina operate on a false diagnosis. And that would have turned that individual's life upside down.
Yeah. But Uncle, you're carry on.
The health sector, if you are a serious government, you should be able to invest in the health, agriculture, education, water, sanitation sectors in order to be independently self-sufficient in those sectors. Gambia hasn't been able to do that. PWD. Those people used to give us clean water, clean electricity for the longest period of time. Kabri PWD Bruka ya privatize electricity company. I forgot the original name before Nawek.
GUC.
We started these problems. Hanibi at a kilometer.
No, before Nawek, Namanka GUC today. I think there's another name. GUC was the original one.
PWD Botajele. Then there was another one. Then the Gambia Utilities Corporation came in. And then Nawek.
Okay. Mandra Nawekla, IBFM Gola. Okay.
GUC lema. Kabri and you privatize the level of the standard of living of Gambians just dropped.
MSG, more
yes, MSG. MSG, GUC, then Nawek. Now, the bigger point I'm making is that Kabri and privatization all that. PWD privatize, MSG privatize, GUC create, then Nawek create. We never had good, clean, sustainable water since that time. Then Kabri GPMB privatized, a cooperative union privatized. The poverty in the rural areas got exacerbated and people started drifting from the rural urban migration kicked in. So now we have a loose healthcare system that is being overtaken by private hospitals and private clinics. And the government is not just up to standard in terms of saying, hey, we need to invest in this sector so at least we can provide good, substantive, reliable healthcare service to our citizens and be able to give them the medications they need and to have those medications in the medical stores. Mawosoto, education system is the same. You are aware of the scandalous things that are being reported in the private media on our education sector. Water funding is the same thing. Sign rural areas, urban areas, you find most people are depending on boreholes for their source of water. And on now, sometimes for 2 months.
Wow.
Ninjio binafanang akana 2 a.m. for 15 minutes.
Wow.
So
water is a basic necessity to life.
It's a human right.
Yeah.
It's a human right. Clean water, good education, good sanitation. These are human rights. Now, if a government cannot provide those basic things for you, what is the use of having a government?
Barrow, sorry, Uncle Larry, me Barrow la SONA on health because if health, as the country recovers from the havoc of the coronavirus pandemic, the Gambia health system continues to build resilience for better healthcare service provision for the people. Seriously?
Seriously. This is where I took issue with it because the resilience he's talking about is a resilience that the major donors put a lot of money into our COVID mitigation and management programs. A lot of money went into it. For the now first interview, COVID resources, that 600 million got lost.
Yeah.
And that was not me saying it. It was the Auditor General saying it.
Yeah.
So your healthcare system is resilient only in the area of stealing public money.
Uncle, but interestingly, the SONA did not even mention about the death of
the children.
Maybe the children.
Na 67 long. But then 2 weeks into last month, about 27 more died in the Canifing hospital.
Canifing,
yeah. So now we are resilient, but you cannot even talk about the kids who have died, the trauma to their families, and the cost to the country. And then you go and hire a high-powered law firm in Washington, D.C. to take your matter to court. What happened to the many lawyers that University of Gambia is creating?
Yeah, no, lawyer hire. But Uncle, as we are talking about this, Halifa Salah also had a reaction delay to SONA. Let's listen to that. Now I'll give you a name for the sound bite of what Honorable Salah said.
Look at the crisis situation that the country had to confront, which he did not mention anything about. How many children died at Edward Francis Hospital and Serekunda Hospital? Not a single word. There is absolutely no doubt that when somebody dies under suspicious circumstances, they have the capacity to do the autopsy necessary, and you can hold coroner's inquest. For those doctors who did all the post-mortem to come and testify so that the cause of death could be established, and that will be followed by legal action because you have concrete evidence of the cause of death. But we have not seen talked about committees. That's not. When you talk about law, you want to pursue something, you are dealing with evidence. And the best way to establish evidence is a call of coroner's inquest, so that people will come and testify and give the evidence that is necessary. Whatever has been done, testing outside, they will come and deliver. And as a result, the coroner will be able to make pronouncement on the cause of death. And if there is foul play, which is what is suspected, then of course you'll be able to take national and international actions. That has not been done. Look at the oil spill.
The oil spill.
It's like it's forgotten. The damage it is doing to nature, who is following? You need a really expert study from the genesis of the crisis and a follow-up monitoring, periodic reporting to see what impact, environmental impact assessment needed to be done on a continuous basis so that you'll be able to know the cause and consequences of the oil spill and be able to do something about it to prevent recurrence. No report on that.
No report on that. Bani wal bela baka gir pala Bantaba no Uncle Lare Sisay bijam. Uncle muna nanga nyim play. Ni te diamuta. Nte diamuta. Alaji Usenu dabo diamuta. Modo diam ka fu UDP kolo. But on demo Khalifa Salamanta UDP. Wala nang ay même fo nga play jam muyamu. Ako Barrow la SONA dindi wala fat ebe jele fokam. Pour que la diamu in buttress. You know, voices of reason. More men hakilo warta. Men hakilo kamalita. Men ke mira they think outside the box. Will be agreed like Barrow la SONA fell short of kadindi wol kera suba man tambala nak onkul. Ide mo banko nyaadum kolti. Ibele banko address kan dinding hanata, let's say hanata danta dinding taworo ni woro anda siata wotilo comme même siata wotilo. Recently dinding tani woro la ban. Amofu Khalifa Salah yole for la press conference akwa disappointed. Adama Barrow di amata amande kamne nyin dinding wol la fa nte ba fo kam ko sugo code ama mulum Barrow nya ko fenna onkul.
No yalo même fanam bije sewo. I said and State House twisted my word for it. I said the perception out there of Barrow and his NPP is that it's a tribalist outfit. But the other perception that people have of him and his cabal is that they don't have any sympathy or empathy for poor ordinary Gambians.
True.
Empathy. Now, Khalifa Kanyim thing, you know, all these things happen without consequence. It makes you think that a government devoid of responsibility, accountability, transparency, probity, and consequence management can only function the way this government is functioning. There are no consequences for anything you do. Nico corruption or yes, we took somebody to court and stuff. Yes, you took somebody to court and you found him guilty, but I killed him. And him more cotton on the Ima woluma ye tuje. Then secondly, the bill that should have empowered people to take corruption head on is still languishing in Parliament 6 years after the fact.
Yeah.
The constitution that can make you pay for consequences as a head of state and a minister, permanent secretary, Amantara Tamakan, the constitution is out the window. And it's out the window because Barrow wants to remain for as long as he can.
Yeah.
Now, and these are the realities. That is the perception out there. And it's my if it is my perception, it's the perception of others there. It has to have some element of fact to it.
Yeah.
Now, Nitema Auto answer no for Kante attack personally. You know, the best response I have given them was that I would not dignify their insult with a response.
So Uncle Bribe program or a State House accountable the ye challenge
Peter contact Leko. This is the second time this man is coming to your platform and is lying.
Jamal of State House.
State House. Whoever in State House did it, Peter followed wrong on his radio program that State House, this was their response. And what they wanted was to pick a fight with me so that I can be distracted from what I'm saying into focusing on defending myself. But in I can defend myself. I am not going to dignify that with a response.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, maybe na brother long Gorgi, Ibrahim Gorgi Sankre, government spokesperson.
No,
Attente.
I mean,
What about brother apologize? I'm calling baby. I didn't say definite. I'm calling baby.
Hello, may message Ninki, kill to a specific number.
Okay.
But Cabri announcement Ninki that it says State House. So they call it wrong State House. Whoever State House is, was not happy that I was saying these things. Well, and I attack personally, but if they attack personally,
either you are too sophisticated. Either you cannot be distracted.
No, yalo UDP call from inyanta lesson tala otole because you can't stand wrong. Ngakelo start mbe cool.
Don't for your uncle all the time. Cool don't be you look we are sometimes the mode of get very reactive. So you can look at it sometimes you just let sleeping dogs lie, and just move.
Ninga for intega message in telephone call dama men soto. It's over 1,000 reactions to say that was a mature response to a stupid question.
True.
Or to a stupid statement, especially coming from State House.
Yeah. It's
so we have to start turning the tables on them with reason, with our intellect. Because to le karanta nyulti, al nga itandila kon to le karantalti.
Tonya karante. Okay,
then let them come out and debate us on the issues.
Yeah, because anyway, okay, let's carry on because the lines will yellow. So, what the health, what the action to just carry on in particular conversation. What other areas? I don't know.
Na education for nama. And in water and sanitation. Then foreign affairs. If you look at the SONA, the section on foreign affairs, ngamera three lines dorona. Yo, banku mume itela foreign policy, la partnerships. If you can summarize that for the president in 2 or 3 lines, what does that tell you about your foreign policy? That maybe your foreign policy it's not what it should be. But I also tell people, ntebuka minister Jalai, mbuka minister criticize. Because foreign policy mankala foreign policy. Foreign policy, president or foreign policy, it's the president's agenda that the minister works on.
Yeah.
It's the president's agenda that the finance minister works on. All the ministers work on. So molka minister in criticize akatama bakela fenke, fine. But then again, it's not his foreign policy. It's the president's foreign policy. And what he comes home with is what the president wants him to come home with.
But the late Badara, the former vice president, did say during their retreat, ako Gambian foreign policy. So that's what he said.
Yes, Badara kumajamale fanamfoa me alonko tonyala and it will haunt these people.
Yeah.
Because he even talked about corruption. Paka for Barrow, mafoko itele corrupt barilla minister, you need to rein them in on this corruption issue. And then the issue of telling the truth, it cannot be business as usual. I will pay for it. But we are dealing with dysfunctionality, Seku. Let people understand that.
Disoriented, dysfunctionality, everything.
Yes. Yes. It's across the board.
Yeah.
The right hand doesn't know what the left is doing.
True.
If a foreign policy is going to be comprehensive, visionary, substantial, it should encompass our economic policy, our trade policy, and our general macroeconomic direction of the country. That's what the foreign policy is supposed to support. Ima figure out honeybee. And become more for attack.
More for the free speech. It's our civic right. Yeah. So away from foreign affairs, what was your next thing?
Defense also. Now, all these agreements they are signing with Senegal, this hot pursuit and what have you, Muna jumale alo membe o agreement ol kono.
Ali.
Munati na mol malo because they are not transparent about it. Now, Nico hot pursuit. The Senegalese can enter our country, shoot at our people, arrest them, and take them. The Gambians cannot do that to them.
No, it's one-sided. It's a one-sided agreement.
Yes. So the essence of diplomacy, is reciprocity.
Yeah.
Reciprocal behavior is what you are looking for in your relationship with another country.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you treat me well this way, I should be able to treat you well this way.
Yeah, it should be based on mutual respect, isn't it?
Yeah, in Gambia have in Latin they call it mutatis mutandis.
Yes.
So if your diplomacy is not based on reciprocity, then forget it. You don't have a foreign policy. You don't have a security policy. You don't have a defense policy. And then we moved on to all the reforms that have stalled.
Yeah.
Law reform, constitutional reform, security sector reform, economic reforms, and then reforms of the healthcare sector, the education sector. You can count up to 10 such reforms. They are all not moving. And yet, when they report on it, they say, we achieved this, we achieved that, we achieved this, we achieved that. But if you take a time and look at the achievements, it's mostly activity reports. Now, workshop attend Janan, Tata understudy la Janan, Tata Dulato Janan. Recently, Tata Botswana. The people they were dealing with in Botswana were people I trained.
Botswana.
Yes, the public service people went to Botswana. And in President Barrow, covering 2017, 2018, Botswana, Naki Balaban in Swaziland, they will give us scholarships. They have resources. These guys, Botswana, the system there, democratic system has matured, in my view. So, now for 2018, 19, 20, 20, 21, 22, for 23 later.
But Uncle, before I move away from there, the Ministry of Public Service, in the farm money for this new ministry.
No, Ntefe. This Ministry of Public Service Commission, Secretary General, Chief of Staff function, in function nano, they need to be reviewed. Public Service Commission does an independent assessment of an individual's capacity and makes a recommendation to the appointing authority to appoint or not to appoint. Whoa, it's clear. But then you have the Secretary General, who is supposed to be on law, is head of the civil service and head of the diplomatic corps, by the way. And a lot of people don't know that. The Secretary General is not just head of the civil service, he's also head of the diplomatic corps. Now, ye creation kutoke in a new constitution which you have not adopted, in a chief of staff, ye chief of staff appoint. What are you doing? You are undermining your own Secretary General. Because then at the end of the day, it becomes a question of access to the president. If you use your chief of staff, that chief of staff can alienate and even sideline your Secretary General.
But that is what is happening now. Salimatu Toure, just sidelining. More Sisay is the one calling the shots.
You are violating the law.
Yeah.
Because the Secretary General is your chief advisor.
Yeah.
Walananteko, he's putting the cart before the horse. Because on the one hand, you don't want to adopt the Constitution, but you take some provisions of that Constitution and you implement them for your own gratification. Now, tell me what the Secretary General, the Chief of Staff is doing that the Secretary General cannot do or will not do. So, duplication is a waste of resources.
Uncle, this declared
Yeah.
Waste of resources. Yeah.
So but structurally, it shouldn't be like that. the Secretary General should be the point of pivot to the presidency. Because akakewole nya nunto nte lume yang appoint Secretary General ntata office onyinto. You know what I found on my desk? My predecessor's schedule on the left and the president's schedule on the right. And there is congruence between them. I attend all the meetings the president is attending, including cabinet, because I have a cabinet function. So, nim president be Tarek Musa Jela nkajel. Naka be fenge jela whatever who is pumping oil and stuff nkatara jail. In some instances, nkafa no kana ninje because vested interest level. Secretary General let's work no. Now, Chief of Staff is facilitating all of that. So Ndeko reform agenda has been lost in this shuttle of things. And finally, I said that the use of unconstitutional methods for self-perpetuation, ECOWAS needs to put its house in order to address the root cause of coup d'etats. And the root cause of coup d'etats are, for me, are three huge things. The biggest one is ethnicity. The second biggest one is ethnicity, tribalism. The second biggest one is corruption. And the third biggest one is weaponization of the judiciary and the judicial system to silence your opponents. Those are the three biggest threats to our democratic processes. So, rather than ECOWAS setting up a unit, anti-coup d'etat unit, they should set up an anti-subversion of constitution unit, for lack of a better description. And all of Africa, unless we start addressing this self-perpetuation thing, we are not going to get out of the woods on coup d'etats and unconstitutional changes of regimes. People will want to know whether they have a stake in a country or not. If they decide they don't have a stake in the country, they will take whatever means is necessary to overturn that system. This is what we are seeing everywhere. And ECOWAS Damant, African Union is the same. They have all these nice structures. Honestly, near African Union structure, it's even better structured than the UN. But the structures are hollow, and they are not based on addressing the root causes that the continent is facing. What is that? Poverty.
African in an African institution, we have all these fanciful ideas, but the problem of implementation.
Now, for Peter and Kayako, the Kenyan policy for agriculture sector is developing a fertilizer policy. This other sector is developing. Gambia civil service con. Gambia has a plethora of policies and strategies on the books.
True.
The issue is not a dearth of policy and strategy. The issue is implementation and execution. We don't implement, we don't execute. We just do policies because it's convenient. It's actually a lazy way of administration. And that's why I said, if you look at it from that context, analytically, you have a system that you can describe as a system of maladministration and malfeasance.
Uncle, thank you so much. There are two areas, Madam cover, right? Then maybe a final question on the line. So, audience or on Facebook, we have got 312 people watching. On YouTube, it's 200 and some people. We have 535 people watching us live on this platform. Thank you for watching. More Alonko, the window viewers, thank you for being there. But love the member of Uncle UDP has plethora of ideas, people with great wisdom. Okay, for the sake of the you have to bear with us. You have to follow understand. It's always very difficult sometimes Truka Filkofo. But Tora will coming vast,
Seattle,
you know.
Seattle.
Seattle Manicam, all of
Policies
Tora
Seattle, system
knowledge,
Seattle.
Seattle, all of Tora Minenti. So
Seattle to a point where, excuse me, Seattle to a point where it takes Sabinol.
Yeah. So, Uncle, two areas. Another area, Baroman Nabin for all of the Amokono, obviously, woman surprise, corruption. No word of corruption.
Yes.
No statement of corruption. For major Hali.
No, Amanjahale, and Amanjahale, Aman surprise. Yalo me ananka Amanjahale, Aman surprise. Yalo Nafo's interview at West Coast, I listed about 8 major corruption cases. And now 8 major corruption cases main list. It didn't come from Mr. Lare Sisay. They came from the Auditor General's office. Namenke, Kabrin 2017, I went after the Auditor General's department and I downloaded 48 audit reports. 48.
Yeah.
None of those 48 reports are clean reports. Clean reports meaning there are no audit queries. All of them have audit queries. And out of that 48, the 8 biggest items in our letter, Banjul roads, $41 million US. COVID-19, 600 million. And then the list goes on and on and on. Lack of transparency and accountability is the Achilles heels of this Barrow administration. The legacy will be defined by corruption and tribalism. There is no issue around it.
There's no better way of describing it.
Their legacy will be defined based on corruption and in tribalism. Now, if Barrow is concerned about his legacy, he has to do something about corruption. He has to do something about tribalism. Because tribalism fit in the out of the genius box.
Exactly. But Uncle, why he is so reluctant to this word corruption? Why do you think he's reluctant? Barrow is always reluctant to mention, even to the extent he said something, Melanco. There would have been hoo-ha, new for the UK, audit report. It's just a mere opinion. Very condescending.
And then, and not only that, ICO is just a mere opinion, but then you extend it and say the person giving that opinion could be biased.
Yeah.
So that is indirectly attacking the personality of the Auditor General. And for me, in our interpreting is, our opinion is possible a biased because Mandinka, if he's a Mandinka, he's UDP.
He's UDP. That's the way to decode it. Coded is a coded language. Coded language.
Yeah. For the president to say it's an opinion and it could be biased begs the question, where have you been when all these billions of dollars are being pilfered, starting with your wife?
35 million.
35 million more bukafo. And then Mao Tara audit report kono. Ma audit report there that says 35 million. Now Tara in the public domain. That amount of money was deposited in the wife's account. So Niela wife compromise when I man cook ibe jumale on compromise la.
But Uncle, I'm not audit report, but Adam Barrow himself confirmed it during one of his interviews. The then Secretary General and Ibrahim still during our interview many years ago, he confirmed that they put the money in the wife's account, and he himself said woman can write procedures. In hindsight, they made a blunder. Ibrahim still I have to on record.
Yes, Nielo interview moelle. Niaje ko ate kute nolaje kabrayo fo. Anyanta fola le baringa fine na kodo nati kodo fela la samba treasury. Then he can fight corruption. But I'm okay. Yalo membe ko niaje nkana language couch ka foko, it's in the public domain. A lot of people thought that was part of an audit report. It wasn't. No. It was part of the public domain, and several of his own ministers have confirmed, including himself. So, niaje nao issue nati nyine kamako kaitandi molla ko barote $35 million to nola la musola account aita Lare Sisay la muso kama for $10 million.
Yeah, true.
Atake non. Secondly, ngame mfana mfunko, if you take this Senabu Martin's case, yeah, Barrow president this individual has been found to be corrupt. He collaborated it in a public interview.
Yeah.
Iko by force for a Murundala officer.
Yeah.
Imam Murundala officer, a police all nata moliaje visually.
Kabunda yele by force.
Ama yele by force, yeah, katile.
Yeah, katile, yeah.
Ninkol ka for a kati. Bunda katile. Now, yena ton immediately after the elections, ima oboindino, it ataye the same Senabu Martin ya appoint the same position in another region.
Yeah.
What does that tell you as a lay person? Niko eko carry serious about corruption and you raise that issue. Would you have agreed?
No, in Barrow's world, in his myopic world, Barrow fight against corruption, Wolonka UDP in Kulu, Kele. Once you are his supporter, Yansika Barrow support, it's a Bangola now, it's a central bank for the empty knowledge. Do whatever you want, but as long as Itaka Fundika Barrow enable, you're fine. Because clearly Senabu Madin the case all the time. And the reason is you set up this bogus commission, this local government commission. Ko ikada UDP kisi. You've got
Baroma men understand, and Menuka advice him understand. The people who are controlling the resources of these councils are government appointees.
CEOs, yeah. In fact, audit findings, commission of finding all the time they come. That's the direction of the point. Yeah.
They are it. Now, let me finish by saying the last thing I dealt with Peter is the issue of respect for the rule of law. Now, na UDP MP Mintela case where he took a case to a police station because a woman was purportedly being UDP insulting Jolas and Mandinkas priest Kumusitakinyo.
Yeah. Fantajawara.
Where case number police. What happened? The police station commander says, but in upstairs is calling me, but not and MP commander kai dukaren impoti ja ikonima kembe problem also. So you have a set of laws in the country. The country has a set of laws for everybody. But when it comes to application, this is when they weaponize it politically. Because Nasra Nunko, it's due process under the law. That woman should have been arrested. No questions asked. Ima arrest. Now, the second example, Mendi, Kafoko, Barona la Kabal, they don't care about due process and rule of law. And they live in a universe which basically denigrates respect for the rule of law and respect for private property rights. You are an economist. You know what property rights mean to investors.
Yeah, it does mean a lot. Yeah.
The example I gave was Jamila properties, the Menusis. They haven't been disposed of in a most transparent, honest, clean way. Everybody knows that. They keep changing the story. And I am saying, if you are transparent and you are honest, there is no need for people to speculate about it because you put it in the public domain and it's not subject to argument. Now, the second one I gave was Jamila Properties member Batokum. And listen to these people very carefully. These are public properties.
Yeah.
For public properties, Jame Busimol by force, ila kaitol bebulu.
Yeah.
Ayeta ay wolo kije. Jana commission ya review. Jana commission your review in 2017. The review in Pareta 2017. 2017 in Saintema is 7 years. More men Cordal Soto Bato Kunku, they still haven't got their properties back to them.
Wow.
Dolubije, many alonko, they are connected to the government. I know who has the list, who doesn't have the list. Ye list of the world. So yalong wala mo animal farm. All animals are equal, but
one rule for one rule for another. Yeah. Yeah. But also talking about Janet Commission, Uncle. We saw on the headlines, Standard newspaper, for 22 million, according to the auditors. 22 million of Jamila Sale Jalum is missing. But even though the Justice Minister, he also went to the National Assembly. He lied. I don't know why these people are becoming a lying machine, Uncle. At the National Assembly, and the Standard came out and they made a rebuttal, in fact, quoting the specific page number of the auditor's report. And why would the Justice Minister go and just funny for National Assembly? I don't just get it. Do these people have respect for Gambians? Do they?
No. Let's look at it from the obverse. I always look at it from the obverse. What is real and what is unreal.
Yeah.
Now, Kabri Standard your report, okay. I went back to the audit report. I saw the same line there. But he came back and said that is not true. Now, the big issue is two things. Why? One, why would you lie about something which is in the public domain in an audit report?
Exactly.
Yeah. And secondly, why would you go to the National Assembly, misinform them, and they let you walk scot-free without sanctioning?
Bingo. Uncle, this is why this is the issue that I have with our National Assembly, because on the floor of the National Assembly, no minister or no public officials should lie and then walk scot-free.
You resign. You don't resign, you get fired.
Yes, they don't know what they are doing, or they just it will find among Gambian respect, because Gambian make cattle fire, because if the minister a National Assembly, because it told you that they could have even referred to the copy of the auditor's report and said, but it a standalone use, but this is in the auditor's report. Why didn't none of the MPs pointed that out? Okay, Uncle, I don't know. They have a problem.
No, you are right. Yalong mem famo be kuokono, huh? Mem famo be kuokono. Sinya fula this year, National Assembly buka quorum soto because all the MPs are somewhere else.
Yes, they travel to China. They go to some of these. Yeah. National Assembly.
Sinya fula, they couldn't make a quorum. Now it's all of them. The second critical thing that we should look at is why these National Assembly members are not putting forth private members' bills to address some of these issues.
Last year, bring a new private member bill kumamande. Iko nkana koronto about election, about sign. Kabiri you elect. Sign from what local government election or election. Hani sign your private member bill. Need the amount Carlebe public order act below Fenkikan. Carlebe land Fenko. In fact, Honda yes now I brought him here. He named me some of the Atemal work on which of the bills. But Hani sign no action, nothing. Ibuka fem moy. You understand? And we all need to be told Munente Campbell Kukaman for any Natajan, I put them on the spot. We need to follow interest nata, bring falling roketa for section 91 deal amount of the constitution. Quickly you change. They change it, they didn't waste time to change that. Uncle, because these people they can debate all for a former dia Gambia for Tonyafo. Because Nim Banko for a soral to uncle for Tonyafo Nyoe. Do look at deputy Yamutamula, Purike Fongo Barakandi, no electoral use, not to do National Assembly. Non develop nak tama nak padia mol soto sanji lulu then dem fam bill up la for another sanji lulu hanim man gagné asa tarante kam fam of senge ni selfishness wala kala la ko
yalong nil MPC mammen understand dalilo le atina mole carte of faye pour eta ni National Assembly now ntefe if they had a private members bill on corruption, on the Draconian Public Order Act, on reforming the Independent Electoral Commission, whether or not Bilol passed is immaterial. What is material is that they brought it on the floor, and the vote will show exactly who is for or against it. But the fact that Imao Dodoke, it means that they are all lethargic. There is no other way of saying it. The National Assembly members, they reach out to the inner sanctum of UDP, where there is this body of knowledge and experience. We have more lawyers per capita than anybody else.
Yeah.
We have more economists per capita than anybody else. We have more internationally oriented people per capita than anybody else. Why don't you tap into that to help you do a private member's bill that will set the party apart from the pack? Because when the budget was being done, party leader Katabake, I told 4 or 5 of us and 2 others from outside, how to prime them to debate on the budget. We did that. They did very well in terms of highlighting the issues that as MPs they should be highlighted. But there was a disconnect. So there is no private members bill, and everybody is everywhere else except for on the floor of Parliament, where sometimes it's actually somebody, a close friend of mine in another country, he sent me a message. Hey, my friend, you people, you can't even have a quorum to do your people's business in Parliament. What is going on in your republic? That was the rhetorical question that individual asked me.
Malo uncle, Maringa for him explicitly because Dolby in Dolco audio Lama Italian Kurumti. Wolom Uncle Kamen for them. Deputy Wally Luale Soto, coming institution Dulalu, Kurum Wolom, nin deputy wol longa momembe deputy bungo pour session soto ye kol kata yanta deputy tan mali ni lulu wolon kurum 45
wolon kurum te
ha wolon kurum te nin deputy tan nani da mabi je kurum mon soto 5 fura deputy tan nani so akam da bula kata sinya fula gambia la deputy bungo ka meeting o bay because kurum soto akam da deputy tan nani lulu man banko kam pour meeting soto because munaketa tamori hara no China le it had African development, it had ECOWAS Parliament, it had AU Parliament.
African Parliament in South Africa.
South Africa, ha. Yin dibide Jamabale Border Banko Camp, so I think a senior fuller, Gabella dibide boom, Mitmo and Keno. So I told Carpe File, one and Ganimfo, say it's about time, Nimbe Catro for the dibide only for the dibide cross. Nimbe Diamo for the Diamomandia, Manta dibide all Bela. Yellow, we are talking about the institution. Now, I don't know, killing Albijel Melba Katakam. But
Yalba
Katakam, but California, one rotten potato spoils the whole bag. One rotten potato. Coming, honey more than BJ, Montreal Duco, deputy Molotopia. So the Amoman, yes, I made deputy old elephant. Catalal BJ, old Bella Catapulca, but Tamol and Talalan, deputy old Gambia and me alone. And do not talk for what was it a million deputy old talk. Hanata don't you didn't go because don't be Uncle Cabe seminar. Honey Gambia phone seminar. Near call telephone or data shuttle. Ibe yaila seminar rek seminar bayndo mo buke diamo ko moy député bu moto you never hear them national issue sol be kala ni député wolu kuma fo lay te fem fo lay because mamme understand uncle ndema understand barobe ñu nene kam kabrin 2021 sami 2023 the draft constitutional assembly base de what the heck I don't understand
Yalo Membije. We talked about the dysfunctionality between the finance minister and NAWEC, and then the dysfunctionality within the president's own structure vis-a-vis Secretary General, Chief of Staff. The third biggest dysfunctionality is the relationship between the executive and the legislature.
True.
With this functionality, I will explain things. Natra nunko executive example itandi that there should be a strict adherence to a travel schedule. Una nyimbebe kelalaba.
Ali.
Yalo lack of quorum tekel. But it's a free for all. Everybody is traveling, and the perception again, the perception of memfo. Jama jama na bolonko nonko li ka fa atol tuba karandi mul albal fam kudrone.
Tonyalo fankum.
Yes, near for you cannot argue them down because they are right.
Yeah.
Do ntela do bije ni nga to fo kudan kol balon nale wo ka mem fonte mo ko fonte kuda kadu sana yale ben nate ma fana ka fo nyele ko atol tuwa karandi wal fam alla jibo dron.
Tuwa karandi wal fanan to man diade amanga mbeti nak to karandi kalabande
because of
na kalabande ya sana because imam ami college I think fani benefit lik
yeah, she said it in her
in a committee ikate ya the sideline putamo just because she was our views on some of these projects some of these loans you can approve in fact nada miracle committee la chair iko Omar Dabolom Omar Dabo NPP ngole mati atemo so atela attitude man atela behavior man Omar Dabo memenu UDP he cross capital to NPP. So I thought I was committee in chair. So somebody texted me that message the other night. But Uncle, another thing that Malum for SONA Mama well on the staggering debt burden insurmountable.
Now le fangoma ko betis is safe. When you look at the debt portfolio of the country, as an economist, you can basically say that we are suffering from a debt overhang. Now, this debt overhang, Kufulala, Jame in 22 years, 22 years of rule under Jame, he contracted $48 billion worth of loans. Barrow in 7 years contracted 51 billion. 51 billion. So
just Sanjay Warol, 7 years.
Just 7 years. Sanjay Warola, billion Kalulu and Inkili. Yayata Sanjay Muan Nimfula, billion Tanan and inside. Neo de Kafnyoma, na debt building 99 billion now. It's almost $100 billion.
Almost 100 billion.
Yeah. Now, debt portfolio between Jame and Barrow constitute 80% of our national GDP. 80%. So, safe near 100 doku. 80% be kata julijola. 20%.
Wala na niena budget significant portion of it kana debt servicing.
Yes, debt servicing now. So nkame for drone wala munyintiko. For 20% men tutajembe wala fanambe sunya kanyoko.
Wow.
It's actually a frightening scenario that I'm painting.
The future of our country, it looks like bleak.
It's bleak, it's at stake, and this is why when my kids tell me, Daddy, you guys mortgage our future, I can't have a plausible argument for them because
it's difficult to...
80% of your GDP is devoted to debt servicing. The 20% that is there, and there is no brakes on corruption, what do you have? It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. But Uncle, another worrying development, another worrying situation for us, well, on the depreciation of the dollar. Obviously, we know those of us know that we are in the financial world. The mitigating factors, but then the spiral effect of this debt burden, and in the debt Gambia now being a debt distressed nation. Those situations obviously it's having consequential effect on foreign currency, the value of our currency, the dollar. So, and worst of all right now, then you discuss of the year before you came. CFA used as legal tender by our national institutions, Gambia Ports Authority, parastatal, accepting CFA for Senegalese job. This is really worrying. But dollars only but a value better can nyame in it's a cause for concern, isn't it?
No, amanke ko the use of an alternative foreign currency as a medium of exchange in the economy affects only the economy. It affects you and I.
Yeah.
And our purchasing power at the marketplace.
Absolutely.
Because it puts undue pressure on the dalasi.
On the dalasi,
and the dalasi depreciates.
Yeah.
And it falls, and the prices just commensurately go up.
Go up.
Yeah. Honestly, sometimes I wonder how patriotic we are as Gambians. Because according to the Central Bank Act, the dalasi is our legal tender.
Yeah.
In the confines of the Republic of the Gambia.
True.
So when you bring in a suitcase full of CFA to conduct your business, whether you cross through Karang or Farafenni or wherever, you're supposed to declare that.
Yeah.
Now, after declaring it, the people who are taking that CFA on the streets, our business establishments, have no business taking that CFA from you. Because it's basically illicit transfer of money into our economy. And it has an effect on our exchange rate, which has an effect on our cost of living and our rate of inflation. Yalo Molka for Gambia inflation is around 17%. The last time I asked a rhetorical question to Peter, food basket, does it feel like 17% or 50%?
No, it's not the real rate of interest. It's the nominal rate of interest.
It's a nominal rate of inflation there.
Yeah.
So Nitata Marceoto, your real rate of inflation is around 51%.
Yeah, the real rate of interest is much higher.
Yeah. So Kasefa Nati, and foreign currency dole Nati, it's detrimental to our economy.
Yes.
And honestly, I have seen situations where these people will come from Senegal with a bunch of CFA in bags. They come, they buy cars, they buy other electronic stuff. Even Bazanyo, because it's cheaper to buy it here than to buy it in Senegal. Resell.
Wow.
So this is something that government needs to be seriously seized on. To say enough is enough, it has to stop. We cannot have an economy with a parallel currency exchange rate system.
And Uncle Yalande, I'm not being xenophobic here, but Senegal, Ntoluka may accept from Senegal. Senegal will never accept that from us. Look, you cannot go to Senegal. Dallas from sometimes put our falling from is a problem. You don't get Dallas. You understand?
Nte kabula moto la le doton nimbe travel lang kata moto borin le ngata park, na dula soto Senegal moto park dame ngata airport ngata. Nimbita, they insist that I declare my Dallases going in, I declare them coming out. So ngata memfu from the beginning, I said reciprocity, mutatis mutandis issue is what is at stake. Among xenophobia. They love their country, they are enforcing the laws of their country, so that is not xenophobia. We are less loving and less enforcing of our laws than they are, and that's why they can come into our country, work with a bunch of cash, and just play havoc with our economy. For the American Naranunko, Gambia's working on Tebe complain la, inte complain la, nisi working on Senegal la, ngakela.
Yeah.
But Senegal because they are nationalistic, they love their country.
And again, dollar fion de beto level, Kuramo, it's like a marco. Even Ace cable, internet, Senegal, na security, Senegal. And you know what? Interestingly, Barola in Tata, Malonfake Mira of Mola, you are I 2026. God forbid. Akana win. But is Barrow thinking that ECOMIG will stay in Gambia until 2031? Uncle, why do we have to keep up with these external forces? Because Barrow, as long as I take Gambia, ECOMIG will be there. Because Barrow among Gambian security forces or trust, he will never leave his security in the hands of Gambian security. So I think in a miracle, and ECOMIG will be here. Then we will stay as long as, obviously he doesn't know the dynamics in Senegal, whether Macky Sall will be there. And I can't see Macky Sall continue to be president in Senegal for long because of how the situation is in that country right now. Because Senegal mankin politics. So the Macky look, the election is 2024. But Barrow 2026, Barrow 2026. Yeah, I understand. So now, interview in close water follow. There are a lot. The permutation here. There's a lot of issues here, but the box stops at us. Central Gambian.
Fatol Malonko, Baroni Makisala, they are twins tied by their umbilical cords.
Absolutely, you're right. I can see that.
Barrow is just playing Makisala's playbook. Where he is missing the boat is that Macky hasn't said he was going to go for a third term.
Yeah.
Now, he jumped the gun and said he's going to a third term. And Peter asked me about this because in the interview in Kankaiko, UDP officially, we are a democratic party. We are a social democratic party. We have respect for the rule of law. Under the 1997 constitution, which Barrow is using to maximal effect for his own benefit, there are no term limits. He can run.
Yeah.
If the new constitution, which had term limits in it, is in effect, so I'm saying respect for the rule of law. As far as we are concerned, a party like UDP, we are not going to make an official response to that. More individual views, but as a social democratic party, as a party that respects the rule of law, the legal framework that is now ruling this country does not prevent Barrow from running for a third term.
Yeah, Uncle, that is true. But Niajibe in this perspective, Nakarole Keta. Because you and I know that the consultative process, Menkara Constitutional Review Commission, they travel the length and breadth of Gambia, they even visited us in the diaspora. The overwhelming majority is term limit. This is the wishes of the Gambian people. But come in Nakarole Keta Baroe Modanda used the model, they killed that off at the embryonic stage. But digger Tonya before that damage, Gambian will term limit level. So Barobe system you are right. The current constitution, unfortunately, 1990 constitutional, sadly, after bringing a dictator, the system of the Gambia run car. Balajato the Gambia, but the system of the Gambia. Constitution of the Gambia run car, a la mole at the corridors of power with Barrow. But Niaji from that part. Barrow and Nakarle. Lafitale term limit, but I very manipulative. I debated Kurmol use. They killed this draft constitution. So why should Barrow go for it? Yes, you're right. UDP should not even make a statement because I didn't Luatita because about 1997 constitution I have no time limit. But as a citizen, I can express this. Other people are expressing this. This is wrong. Morally, it's wrong. Legally, I don't tell the legal side of it. Morally, is wrong, Uncle.
Personally, I am with you on this one. I'm saying UDP as a party, an institution, has to respect the rule of law.
That's true.
And as crooked as the law is, this is what is happening now. Personally, Barrow Manyana Lola, after 3 years, found Sako 5, 4, 10, 4, beyond 10. Personally, this is my belief. And I'm sure a lot of UDPians believe in the same principle. Abanyana Lola, tell ko mule ko sanje saba wahwa hat.
But I hope
5 years,
so I believe that Gambian will have Polish level. Konga police nyame mayoral election because the mayoral election Gambia no le Barrow poll yes people voted for our candidates on the policy but niajibe mole Barrow for the police because of ala aggressive kumolu abe talibol attack and male rohimale attack and Gambians I believe will punish Barrow in 2026 because of we have been cheated in broad daylight on this term limit. Barrow will be punished in 2026. They won't believe so. Because it is more like term limit, you know.
Look at this term limit also from a regional security and safety perspective. For the ECOWAS man legislative framework, all the member countries should subscribe to a second term limit only. Whether the term limit is 5 years or 7 years, it cannot be more than 2. Banku Juma Leofa.
Senegal is
Senegal.
Yeah.
Togo and in Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
What Leofa?
Makisal agenda lo woti. Makisal.
Yeah, so basically my point is ECOWAS, if they cannot insist that their member states respect that, who are they to tell us we are going to set up an anti-coup d'etat unit?
Yeah.
Now, finally, ngamen for Peter. Nkayeko Barona la Mansakunda, they don't have a vision for this country.
Yeah.
Nkay walatina Barrow tata daoda. Koto Usenu lekatara da kono drong. Usenu dabo this, Usenu dabo that. Usenu dabo this, Usenu dabo that. Nkayeko Barrow, Koto Usenu and UDP are living rent-free in Barrow's head. Because among issues so to namanke Usenu this, Usenu that. Unko Peter in the off the microphone. Nkayeko. Akadi memfo mfama lem na mamandi alafta fen nambakela nkayeko mandinka du wo din cruciality.
Yeah.
Manika do ni mu dimbetoti ka ko ke fine without a being yininka.
Yeah. If I'm an yininka,
Italian nyanda wolle ko kay ya surprise ya surprise ko fama ko barindimu biya katale because I entered. But it buka okay. Now, itata ofana memfo ya for daming. I offer continue.
Yeah.
Now, near topography long. Kuntin Dobo is less than 3 kilometers. Kuntin Barajal is less than 7 kilometers. I koto say no disrespect jela. I jawara disrespect jela.
Yeah.
We have to end the program with that. Allow disrespect. I have issues with that because I think that is beneath the office of the presidency. The office of the presidency should exude the confidence and the kind of, how do you call it, moral finesse that a president can muster to lead his people. We don't have that moral finesse. We don't have the integrity finesse. We don't even have the finesse to sit and think twice about a country and where you need to take that country. Barrow after President Yala Baka, diata in the community, but President Yala responsibility amalla for. Because I can mention the presidency konate alone. He knows what he is getting out of it. The question is he appreciative of that? And does he really respect the fact that he's getting all of these things because of the presidency?
Yeah, Uncle Abaraka, Nanyim Fojan in my last program, I used the word horomantaya. You understand?
Well, is the best description. Yes.
The best description because horomantaya mantambini na for Sadauda Keraba Jora la Dulata Botadani. La Aniola Alabakia ka disrespect wala mulu nyala. It was a heightened level of disrespect. And horomantaya anu Barrow namang alfa bunya dinni wolta bunya anu ni aji be wala be keke na political landscape sa ndini wala ko wuri ka fo Barrow mun nafi ko hasido afa way dindi wonen kulu aya jemba aya bulakat ke balu nenjang ala tala ka kitiyo kuntule bo dindi wo kam wala bota jam jure me ala suna lota platform ta ko Barrow mu hasido le nafi ko e man tous noji ay dindi e man fen noji so wala ti nan dolu men long onkul dol Gambia yen kulu men nga alfalu horoma na Barrow
ke horoma
anu sadawra kare bajal ngafal ko anyanta wo tolandi lale let the old man continue to rest in peace ya understand sadawra me akib ala dunia balwo kono ala presidency kono bunyani horomo men soto adama Barrow hana sanji kemel ka president ata akifi because difference of bani sadawra tere me warta bakele a londinte a daji kante ya understand
ntefe to even compare Barrow with Sadauda
it's an insult.
It's blasphemous.
Yeah.
It's blasphemous. You cannot compare the two.
Yeah.
One is a giant and one is a midget.
Tonya, you're right.
Gambia is standing Gibe in the international community. The way it is now, even during Jammeh's time, much more Jawarala time. Niaje Gambia be mediation killer in the conflict or in the Iran-Iraq war. It has to be the aura and the phenomenon of Sadauda.
Yeah.
And the people around him. Ntenga alone for a fact. Because Rifsi Zelente Kulu, so konoje katara siri ne ka strategy discussion kije just a handful of them in terms of mapping out a path for the country. Now, Nina Ikoka Jawaraning Barole compare. What are you doing? You are denigrating on the whole man's memory.
Yeah.
So Ntefe, asa kata, barate kuno la Jawarala giant status to, whether he is dead or alive. In fact, the more he talks about it, the more he brings out the nostalgic views people had about Jawara, where you can afford to eat 3 meals a day. You go to a health center, you get healthcare treatment, and you go to the medical stores, you have prescription of fill and all of that. Compared to now, where people are struggling to have 3 square meals a day.
Oh, no.
So, until after Moli Mira Wotolela. And
Uncle, why obsession with Alaji Usiru Dabo? Why is Barrow so obsessed with Alaji Usiru?
Well, I can't say precisely why. All I know is Kotozeno and UDP are living rent-free in his mind. And him being a former rent collector, he should know what I meant by that.
Barrow hakilo ma warate olo na wala atalo ne where you go.
What atoli auto faram fansin daiba.
Yeah. We go faram fansin. Barrow hakilo ma because yeah Barrow and it's really where we're gonna conclude. Ala obsession with Alaji Usiru Dabo is actually has made him fail. I'm not even going to say it's making him fail because Barrow has failed already. Because saying Barrow for support Ala Dolaje diaspora jam. Ako atema understanding Barrow lot of podium with all these tons of problems but go be face ka. Barrow who call address, but he talking about UDP leader. Even at some point, uncle. Dinding killing the microphone Adama is put on this for Africa. But Murana Nite Natajan, Ikabe ben double. Why can't you talk about the country? Remember what about Nia embarrassed to that level? Somebody should take the microphone. I have in the crowd, Nahana Mari arrest. You can all okay, this guy political go after the person. But the person would commit a crime because intelligent like Murana Nite Natajan. You don't talk about the country, but double. For Italy Dokumu double. Maybe you going to stop like maybe
ala doku mu dabo leti because yalon seku me atin kala doku mu dabo leti. Usainu is everything Barrow is not.
True.
Both in terms of intellect, lifetime achievements, the kind of respect that one gathers in a small country like us. He is everything this man is not. So this is why when I finished analyzing this SONA and stuff, I asked that same question. I said, but why is he so obsessed with this man?
Yeah.
Because Koto Hussein on his own Abuka Barrow attack. Nimbaro ate attack la ka respond, and recently kabrin presidential election I stopped the fang to react to Barrow.
Yeah, and that is the best.
React.
That is the best way.
And that is the best strategy to take on. Near more na ibuke fanjindi na yakanya.
Yeah.
So ntefe nkana hani mfambatan di water like Usainu is everything, Barrow is not.
Okay,
now,
Uncle,
even attack personally for saying this, but Mobe along is obsessed with the man because the man is everything he is not.
Yeah.
I'll focus on doing tangible things for the country.
Ngamolo diaspora atemu NPP la impact last election ala mol call Gambia le pour ye carton for Barrow akoba this next election aba kola la mole mo kan ikana carton for Barrow ako because at fed up tale Barrow na lo dawda dabo atemu carte di Barrow la pour kadi dabo imu NPP support akate man atela mol man carton for Barrow pour nalo to dawda dabo ko people are fed up with this, and atema me understand ala nanko ala nga bula rek let him just talk about dabo because the more kadi amu dabo the more alamul for the pasilala because the guy is clueless. He doesn't have nothing to talk about atema because atela so from konoman tembe ibe nyo attack
but ate wolf fala nimmo
my mona si dabo ko demba sabale mu rebel leader of the diaspora they attack monona ngana boro dajale bay sankre wo wona ñu wato ko na be to fenke kay damale ko nyakule be je damale kel ite mela so ko no ragle no you want to talk about
Wadamante, how about our two executive members, Maimuna Balden and Fafa Sisay?
Exactly.
Going after each other in an audio. So nte ibe menkela ye okay. Nte lafta men not wrong. UDP in calls are longo. They shouldn't be distracted by all of that.
Yeah.
Because it's a conceived strategy that they are utilizing to distract us because they don't have a viable alternative to us.
Yeah, Uncle.
Alternative soto. Ibe diamulale, ma alternative soto.
Uncle, Simon Mamlala, right? Audience, I will take maybe 1 or 2 or 3 questions. Let them be very brief. Name more after call, you can call. If you have a question for Uncle Larry, please call my alarm right now. Now, question also, and that's fine. Naturally, you feel that we have touched all the areas, then you don't have to call. But it being on Namuso, the platform with you, I'm going to make a complaint. Namuso, Mbukaja Bantaba, I Bantaba tap, Mbukaji, Alima. Alima Mbukaja ka comment, but being a Baragaja Safra, I'm here to watch Uncle Larry. Ba bandila Bantaba, like Namusolo. But
well, I auto explain.
I I'm here to watch Uncle Larry. Namusolo, Maraya cool, Mbuka understand. So, but now she's very busy. She's very, very busy. So, Ba Konton and in Thomas Seku. But ila fan lo she has a lot of respect for you and she speaks.
Ale fonsajede.
Okay, moi.
We're saying right now. Uncle, you have something to say?
No, what I wanted to say is that UDP Nkolu, ikanajina ko since the formation of the UDP, it has been a party of law and order. It has been a party of respect for the rule of law. It has been a party that fights for the poor, the powerless, the marginalized, and the voiceless. Let us always remember that this is our fight. Our fight is not with Adama Barrow. Our fight is with the ideals which make Adama Barrow irrelevant.
Tonya.
And we should stick to that.
Yeah. Abaraka, what a way to conclude. That was a great interview. Thank Uncle Larry for being here. Audience, Bantaba audience, please call in if you have a question for Uncle Larry. We'll take a break.
And audio can
No. Yeah, Jamu Bantaba, Jamanke West Coast Radio. Young audio, Nimpreda Regal, but other recorder. We'll share it in the group. I'll send the audios to you.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll send the audios on Basala. So audio Jamanke West Coast and my internet problem also. So anyway. So audience all like the line is open. Like Nalman question also. Nalia feel ko you are satisfied with the interview, all the areas have been covered, you don't have to call in. But I have got Ibrahim Tunkara. Ibrahim Tunkara on first quality. Ibrahim Tunkara. What is happening? Ibrahim Tunkara, you're not okay. I connect Tunkara, Bismillah. Idembara. Abaraka.
Seku Mbukamoy from this side.
Ale fonsaje de. Ale fonsaje. Ale fonsaje. Ale fonsaje. Muna dabo sanka baluo. Ale fonsaje. Mbe useni dabo julalema. Ale fonsaje. Juloka man la maje. Ale fonsaje. Ni aja man la maje. Ale fonsaje. Suluo simbene da. Ale fonsaje. Useni masata. Alale amansa andi ale ponsai mbaro da bodima ale ponsai mbaro da bodima ale ponsai numukunda da bodima ale ponsai alale bate jola ale ponsai mansole bate jola ale ponsai aye gambia bondi bata kono ale ponsai maje molu bele sewota ala be nyinkeraye ale bonsai manso be nyinkeraye ale bonsai usen bodanyani dobo ale bonsai dobo gae usen ale bonsai anata kombo tumami ale bonsai londo nata kulli ale bonsai okaelo adabo
Okay, mbari wale Kotin and issue and Peter Gomez Tonya not computer when I don't know what happened. She said, "Kuna wala kule kada buja malanga muleke." Maringa Mr. Tunkara line I Ibrahim, sorry about this. Until I dropped off from the studio, but try we are back. It's a lot of okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Kai Kandel from coming. I moment Jawabe Mansai President Yala. Maybe it don't remember that no Katai moment for them but Mr. Sisay Mbili don't remember that. Tebe Amitage in 1982-83. Mburuku was transferred 25 bullets.
Yep.
So then come no watembo ya tradala so sembo benyame ngadimbia benyame njamfata nyola bake. Yo kela democratic system will finally give 1987 in Delbe Form 5 Nenga attempt to provoke strike because of Domorikuo. Yo wouldn't jawara la nale nada ke killing tikana meet the farmer stola. Tanya to nanna bana so safi kana la finna kuoli kandi. Yo jawara na ta accept pour ka representative volta student ol konani melbe kajala. Adi moli kajata problem onying aya solve amicably amanke dindi mambu keje mammo barama. Yo in 1986 ngambe kama si remember Gambia High School Senegal Gostin Muslim Club Iran.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
All right, well, you are kama benke ye Zandra Moro linyuri kanne drum ye bute bari amanke mo mamfa mo mambarama. Yo so ni on dimparo la kai mo le compare o men kalo mitindula ya foko ngaji kando faika.
Atiaga so faika.
Atiaga so faika ko ndam man side ni mo flo la maralo completely different yo dina da gibe fana jawra la time o yalo mo be wolo dan tani jawra we are from the same village yo bari am fen kala sate o to because ayagile ko gambia na flo ate o tala katate la sate o develop ala broda soli meli bije ntel fama nyul kaseno kenya me gol kaseno ke wala nyama yo bari ido biringati buta manse ala gol kono kilinti je alkali commission ye memma okay Barrow la nyim president ya kono a period of less than 10 years wo bari ningli be nyame ngawo jele tonya yo bala badin ko ngel be nyame ngawo jele so ntelafta o misalo damman ne tandila abaraka
thank you
abaraka
Ibrahim Tunkara abaraka Uncle Lare Tunkara la diama bayne
It's Mr. Tunkara is on spot. Yeah, wala nanko, you are comparing a giant and a midget. Jawara was a great listener. People who disagreed with him had an audience with him.
Yeah.
And he will listen to them. And if he feels the things they are telling him are what is right, he does acknowledge that. Alkani mem foten Mr. Tunkara ni mem fitin di thing. Wo student demonstration all menkeda. Nata nunko bilam woti den no nyimbe mo men doron baramala ka mo fa mota dan lo no la because nita kalo ika kibiri molie ika fo ngaji kando fa ika ngati agaso fa ika ye police ila political father la suo kono ye to nominate salo men kono ye instruct ye tear gas fa wo salo kono now that those are the measures of the two men. Yalo ngafo Peter Fanan interview to ko. Ya jame nala ya jame ya be. There was an instance where one of his key political allies decided to personally attack Koto Hussein in a rally setting. I have stopped le.
I have stopped.
Murundi bata kai murubani. Yo, Nindong, Jambo by force Lotala, the Kumol for Lamaninko Balo was scrapping for him.
Yeah.
So, what more contrast do we need?
Barrow Krasobanda, Abarakabaki uncle, Musa Sedi, even in Karaoke can okay, Bamba sort of from Germany, Bamba Minea in a minute. Musa Sedi, how can we have his interview at Coffee Shop? All at the beginning of the program, maybe you missed that. Peter Gomez internet issue or audio man sort of. They couldn't do the recording because he said he had internet outage. So what I think the main program okay can do so that it can be recorded. I come all men saying can official so audio Peter ko audio man record. So Bamba Meme Germany, Guten Abend. Welcome to Bantaba.
Yeah, I remember in a program of Diaring.
Baraka.
Hakilo Betiata Bad, Ado Intellectual, analysis in Betiata, Kuma Info, Kuma Kantin the Ban. Yo, Yalon Segundi, and then more different Kuja Yalan. Amanka from Ponte Hadamado Nibo Lorin Tonya Kare. Veden Nilo or Veden Tel Haji Samafu. Then tell Bowl and Allen Tunka Walanyama Manka from Fort. Or Kenny Nala Puma Count Bishla Mola Market not Bela Bari. I'm a common bill for matter. Yalan Banko Bella Tentana. Come Kafalina to so take a reunion book. Why can be more problem what's done? Parce que Jang Nimpang Kondeta phone or Gambia is a republic national money. Then you mean theatre Momo Nila Miro, but in that full Gambia attack of President Embassy, can you banko Kumandika for Republic of Gambia and in Mandakor? I disagree, Mandakor. Parce que Lutan Benim Fola. Nabro. Ya Mundictator the Nyanya, but go do the Kerry B. Nyaje Pakistan abe yalo Africa nyaje nitata ngata for kombaro manya natata bandaka fumule ko no constitution no kuna tejide ha so constitution no be along ko that time teje grabo vote na nta ko for no tani ba for 2020 election August na non ko moli la banko kan olu mol ballo la national assembly dundado ka nyida ko constitution no nya do file ko hak deputy fanan tante banko hanna de ka luwane de da because you know luanin de data girin ko na fokado for diaspora banko be agree to wala so mo killing la interest o manyan na kate deputy ole si deputy mo ko constitution no fanya mo kono ko mo nyanta responsibility tal wodo ye loje this is not better failure but mina the sandia mo man dia seko banko ji ni mo ka so ka askano balo ma foko na ma fo diaspora ka gambe balunde mo fa bar banko ka so bari bi example tare seko bi mo be diaspora de do ko ka kodo so billa wolle mama ni fama be suko ele sister sol fa kodo ki ya le amsa in fact esa kodo ki le amsa
Bamba nyimu interview lati Bamba ila amanke current affairs analysis interview ila ibe question only sort of bang for Uncle Lare because they done for almost 3 hours so
okay samba no question no say ba nyin ka makilin na wala nyin ti say do solution wala kila mus banko mol intelligent kanal no ba kana to ba kana samba solution na kila wala banko na fulo katinya nyami ani ni president membe siri the solution na kila pura ko mol la banko ka because mina na banko ayo sikala di turuto makisala
okay
banko mol solution na mun kan be dimuti because Barrow banko samano wona nadia te ya fasa no problem but president of banko samano la so na fulo la bakasar kan because na ko mo mako akolo habe dafan for the gambel esa ako 2 months dio mo kana ko da kon 2 million people in afford no giola in for afford no electricity sa banko mo sen kamire ngadi
Abaraka Karim, okay, Uncle Larry in Karo Mela Bajabela, Namalan Dabo Fonsuko. Malang, I will call you back. Uncle Larry, Bambala Diamo, I think Germany.
No, Bamba is right. I'm with him on this one. Lua mang Barrow prevent Lua mang balangay tatamke. But mol nyanta dame nyinin kala wala munati na mam la constitution kuto nati me lonka bel term limit dilal. That's number 1. Number 2, mosi muneke no. Nte kumkilung hakilo en somen. Sako intellectual. We have to stop sitting on the fence. We have to start talking.
Yeah.
And we cannot be lazy about the issues that we are talking about. We have to do research, be factual, and be incisive in the way we analyze this guy. They hate that. Now, Nico, at the party level, UDP has been very clear that we want a change in government. Wala tinanga manifesto dada. Wala nanga 5-point agenda nyin dada. Wala tinanga ngamen for Peter la interview to Mafo Jang. Wala munyintiko. We developed a vision document for the party leader, which we call it UDP Working Paper Series number 1, Building a New Gambia. I substantive pathway create for how to move the Gambia from being a least developed country to a middle income country, upper middle income country, and to a small developed country like Singapore. What document all BJL. Now, as far as the general population is concerned, to Abol Kamemfolem, a people deserve the leadership they get.
Absolutely.
Gambia no le sonta ko Barrow is our leader. Walatina he is our leader. There is nothing you can say that is not going to dispute this fact that the leadership you get is what you deserve.
Yeah. Leadership is a reflection of the country, normally.
Yes, it's a reflection of a leader is a reflection of the people he leads.
Yeah. Okay, Abaraka Uncle. Saying Malan Dabo but question full of on the comment section. Meaning kind of but Malan Dabo, Bismillah, go ahead.
Yo, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
Come back, Mr. Sisay.
Mbara.
Programo kumata back. Okay, tell point full of wala sabatron million on the jam for a back. Wala munyinti ko eco political party kilinta Barrow bondi no la sembo no form base na nakafunyoma. Okay, kumata back se. But sa mbe kafula nyoma nyal dir nyata ko ndolle mon political party simbe mati banku kan. Ndi amere enten na bundare yelal killing anim fanan na mul fanan walin ka jube ko nimbe kafula nyoma nyadile. Ha ndi amere do kumare jele killing. Kadu ko Barrow to nyalam aya kankula ko akwabe lolale. To nyalam sika mantre je Barrow be lolale. Ando mo kale fanne ni wala. Bara yenye min ni ando ko political party will be get in this year. Mbe Barrow ko September 2026. Kadu last week yembe ko ji pasa majawla interview la mo kay minke standard. Katan di ko Barrow yi man kan Barrow minke kwa bita tamla ko amata tren. Amata tren dar ba fit da jikila tete Barrow ko nyin dol dar ko nyin ma tren bara ko ba jikin political party se kilin. Okay, ndi American state ko to member be diaspora. Ko di fari akala do ko da fani ala nji bosi nda ya inje mingi da halifa sallati. Ka jibe ko be na ke kilin 2026 gaje ko na ban ko nyin da na fari. Apart from the same Mr. Sisay dia kilin fo ako ning atra Barrow ko ata ganye nyara miyalan ko aseniata. Yana na National Assembly election on you. Barrow siran tanin sela so dule siran tanin woro so. Barrow siran tanin sela so amande MPP damal MPP na la coalition mu mila bela mode. National Assembly election UDP damma do da political party kilin di yemi mol indos ko do senyal da ma do ne fonni ala. Barna adan siran tanin woro so Barrow siran tanin sela so. And the near Gambia Tariq and Edman Surge, Dream Banking for Kalaji, President of Fuabin for Syrian killing pay for the Oriental Blood. But the new Union Carriage inside, come in Lamin Tammy, Dembasabal in Camino. Omo Karte is a really came a war on Yadun Tamin Tulu. Dembasabal can be in and the friend of Dembasabal Kumakan Dufia, misleading stepping in this, Apollo at the campaign. Local government election mean nili arwe adabe campaign ko sego aman tambi rally fula min aten rally fula man tamba Barrow yaje dawoda bijele aberlande ya campaign je fatara faka ko bakar baji be gagner ibu fay ba gagner anin CDC will be for them para min ko marje sego ndi amara ndo diaspora to yala ya fudan jami mul jama baba tan ni kam Barrow nyenta tala ba ndi ama manyi ka dan dala foro da marde to lena bundal yele killing anim fal na mul tan le inje akumata bake so ngina mun tala point de ka ja kumata mbal ten la nal jeeda
abanga malan jani ka dare lafta correction ala ke
so le ko makalla ba seko.
Okay, go ahead. Ngamen fo Bamba ifana nyimu interview lady, so amanke analysis. Go ahead quickly.
Ni hatu ba last week ne program mo na tan de ko bay mu sisra wata ba fande ni kanne.
Yeah.
Akode mba sabal tata program mo ni congress ni atin atar Barrow mo bonda kalama. Bara bi demba sabal mo le kuma ko ya to yan la ka ba kelo nyaade ade nyum banku nyum kula ta wrestling atin ko Sweden Adam Barrow non bunda kala ko be keno nya
no may mona wolle be fo nene kan demba men fo wolon to nyaati Barrow le ke to nene ka fo ko ñunu mate boni je yalla Barrow mun na fi ko le yalla abe may ya
but la kini ba demba may mo ci sa ma ngay ngala B52 fay Barrow fa nan kande amma hani wala na ka Barrow non bunda kala ma but demba sabela kuma ko ñumbel ali di demba sabela sket mo ñu ngi no min procedure da may mo ci sa dawlo ba ka do ko mi da yin ko ñu drape is han may mo ci sa dawlo to amma min so da ko
okay abaraka malang jani bidala rek malang lafta dula senen dula tema okay maybe ngadi amo fu nyamin no ma min ko political party Clinton Barrow bondi la no yes party se UDP se Barrow bondi non but remember ka wolom fonga modul shoto yalan ko comme ni independent ya understand ye symbol lanka ngole mi not necessarily abekala coalition of political parties left to clarify UDP alone can do it but we need comme un exemple même fo jang comme ni ajo men kala talib ben sudo yalon talib ay ni independent shoto mel nata endorse ay symbol di yala I say we know that without those independents but ya yala margin of rata ay nyindang landslide wo independent wol kam MC Cham wol kata Bachili wol kata Nene Fredo Gomes wol ya understand kata fenke Asan Martin wol ye mako ha ba yalo me example o tande ganya so jani mol vitamina le bafla ko se liko UDP Clinton Barrow bonira no mafo nyama kam miracle we can do it but we need the support of the independents and in the neutrals like ye mol je diaspora anu malang I can tell you that Ning Barrow must go among Dadamati. They are already actional strategy in the diaspora. You understand? Among Dadamati. Coming a Menkenu Ya Jamil in 2026, who action civil strategy last week. Forum group Millalongo. It is just purely Kafuko Barrow must go. And Yamababe Kafuko from Manga UDP Gold. You understand? So yeah. Okay, abaraka.
Bari, Sekuning, Mr. Dab. I do like him for. We need to talk about it just a little bit. Kafoko party killing the election or win no. That is a false narrative that is being pushed from certain quarters.
Yeah.
Even within UDP.
Yeah.
So it's a false narrative because the election results have shown conclusively that UDP is in the election or will not. But I don't think UDP is complacent enough to say because we know we don't need independence, we don't need coalition partners.
Exactly.
I think strategically we do need to come together with parties of like mind who believe that the country is on a wrong trajectory and the only way it could be corrected is to change the government. Yeah, okay. Now, parties have started, South Africa has done it. I think Botswana is doing it. Nigeria is doing it. Parties have started writing frameworks for coalitions. That is going on. Frameworks for coalition. Nini mobe duna coalition kono. Yeah. Especially Gambia, Nanying 2016 coalition. If it taught us any lesson at all, it should be that we should have a clearly spelled out, written, endorsed framework for how the coalition is going to function if they win the election. South Africa, ANC has done it. Because in 2024, they are going to face the electorate and they think they're going to need one or two smaller parties to do it. Nigeria, APC is doing it right now in terms of putting together a framework. So I agree with Mr. Dabo. Kafoko, a narrative that suggests that we must be A or B and there is nothing in between.
It's good that you're buttress because particularly election winner, but always additional is always welcome.
Yes.
UDP, we are confident we can do it, but that doesn't mean that we should be complacent. No honeymoon Musa said, whenever you want to ask.
Yeah, I love Mr. Sisay got a question or all.
Yeah, go ahead, Jennings. I have 2 questions on the screen. Then Musa said if I'll call you back. One if I go ahead.
Okay, love with regards to private member bill issue. Because I personally asked 4 National Assembly members at the time. Baby not we traveled they came here and I met them. So in passing about this because it's been a very big concern. So but they excuse well this. So level Mr. Senyin as a senior member of the party, it will facilitate no. Number one, you may and the Wallan they do not have the funds. Yeah, understand because of the resources need that. But number two, they need somebody with his skills. So it will go very like the National Assembly at the time, they expecting legal drafting office of a create la me alon ko wolle be member private member bill lambang nyadi lam any kind of bill at least it will go through them can make so called secure because legal drafting ma fanso skill set le so as keno ya office established Bantaba kalam da as now so la fa ni misa se ni kala wala ko itol na ko these people are willing to come or they come up with a private member bill being legal writing ko make after it will provide and also the funds because you will complain explicitly it will more constraint.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Atemuna colleague
wonderful the issue of a private members bill. Jama nka lack of funds usually as a mental block to it. Now, why do I say that? I have served in countries where 2 or 3 countries where the opposition and in some cases with a few members of the ruling party getting together and doing a private members bill. Now, Niko Kodo Mansoto Kake, I assume, not knowing the context they use it, I assume that they need money to pay legal drafts people to draft the legislation. Natako Wolem, I will say that through our various discussions in terms of how do we support and empower our MPs, at the beginning of this show that per capita UDP has more lawyers in its ranks than any other political party. So, hanin petition on to the Supreme Court was done in a very collective entrepreneurial way. But one loyally leader to craft it, to put it together, and to make sure that it goes to the Supreme Court. So, a loyal certainly. What is lacking, in my view, is for private members to come to the party leader and say, go until after private member bill on corruption or on this Public Order Act. Help me guide through this thing. Now, system totally in place that can help them do just that. You have to remember that writing a private members bill does not necessarily mean that you have the person who is writing it has to be a lawyer. The person who is doing it has to have an idea or a series of ideas to say, this is how I want my society to evolve. Then you get a lawyer to reframe that into the legal language that is required to do it. Now, finally, the parliament hiring a legal draft person and stuff. Come on, you'll make a more promise o bukata. Itakela because it's not in their interest. Can you imagine Fabakari sitting down instructing a parliamentary legal draft to do a law that is going to get rid of the Public Order Act? You are not thinking far enough. This is an individual who proposed an emergency bill to stop Barrow from being sworn in as president. His deputy is on record as saying, never swear in Gambia, it will be over my dead body. You think these people will empower any MP to do the kind of private members bill that we are talking about? Atakela.
Thank you.
So,
I completely
structural use. Huh?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. But yeah, I have been criticizing these MPs and also maybe Nintonga for Isajenya Donya. But yeah, for it totally makes sense. That's a logical argument. UDP lawyer Jamal Lebeja, I think if they want to do it, it's very easy. And therefore, I believe, like you said, it will require a lot of money. So thank you for highlighting that. So I have to see how they want to see the MPs now. Thank you.
Yep.
I want to go back. In fact, in a related question, Kabiro Sonko did ask, just wrote something on the comment section. Uncle Ako Sehu, can you please ask Mr. Sisay, what is stopping the party from reigning in our MPs for a discussion on legislative matters? I think you did touch on that during the interview, but somebody's asking that question, and it's related to what Wanifa just asked. Comment MP or like, what is stopping the party from reigning in our MPs for a discussion? So, but the party is already doing that, Uncle, right? The
party is already doing it. The party leader is already doing it. He picks up the phone, he calls them, and stuff. Now, what we have to all remain focused on is the responsibility and consequence issues around this subject. If a member of parliament wants to take the responsibility of doing a private member's bill, honestly, they will find time to do it. And if they can't find time to do it within the party, they can do it on their own. As a Kenola, it's rocket science. But we have a situation where Ningamol Tombongi Londe as MPs, we expect them to comport themselves in a way that represents the people that elected them. If they comport,
sorry, go ahead. You finish.
If they comport themselves around those principles, then you can say, if you are an MP and 5 years is gone by, you cannot show one private member's bill. The consequence ought to be you shouldn't expect to be renominated.
Exactly. Now, Uncle, I agree with you. I can't agree more with you on that. Well, I think we are. I think
party adopted on a consequence management scheme because all organizations do it. You have to have a framework.
We should have this performance based with these MPs. They should not have this automatic right to be candidates just because it's a candidate. It should be based on your performance. And I think the leadership of the party should listen to this because this is the only way we can make people to work. And because people are not just elected to go and just be, celebrated or celebrities all that. They have to work. But Musa said if is on the line. Former Sisay Ogambe will be Tony Kana go Yininga Allah Kujalo Monaka former. Can be Tamolo Yalom
if I think I'm mengen na Kujalo landed over say the program.
Kujalola. Ela to Sisay Kuna Dagon Flu, Albenio Yininga Kujalola. Because no more be just a I think I Kujalola Yininga, El Sisay Kuna Golo.
Yalo membe kuokono ntekata damen kuda te forma e jelo ne kujalo bijele nyeo do bije ka fa suyeo suyeo be jama
Abaraka Uncle Musa
nyani ni nyamina so mbeme ke kana na kujalo ni na suyeo la kana nyinin ka oto.
Musa Sisay, you're on. Musa said sorry. Uncle Sisay, Lare Sisay, more condom. Apologies. Musa, hold on. No. It's at my end. Nothing got had a Bluetooth straight away. It got connected. Maring a Bluetooth disconnect, and I get Musa back. Musa, sorry. I'll start again because I'm going to call it on a Bluetooth letter. So we missed what you said. Can you start again, please?
Okay. Is out of your program like Barrow IC Polo.
Go ahead.
OIC, for OIC, the organization members, countries will be organization of Woleka sponsor. For OIC, that can contribute to open from Woleka sponsor because tell me 2 times, Nativity Kudo, Ikataki Kapuru, Unica, Molurika, OIC for the body. So, Fulanja, na Fulanja, Minty, Molurika coalition. Nyantaka akilo na Gambia la coalition system of policy ba nilla fita problem mola koteke ukare mafo ko mol kana na ka join mol ka wala di depend on nyanta ni koros la mol ke da kare min na Gambia la politico is to trap so wo politico kono ika jingere political party jamal bi la base ka tribe jumal le so ni wodi hali ata ko ni UDP la ta ñokay wolle kana fuko ya adi la ñina ngadi Barrow. So we need to be very much careful. Coalition UDP is always open to the coalition, but it's not a coalition and the 2016 coalition on Yantaka Gambia in the Singlet. 2016 coalition on Yantaka UDP and Alpha Smart people like Lare Sisay. The plan is that for UDP the Falale, UDP let them study the situation coalition or load and Lincoln. They are very brilliant. One line. Near number of Lare la interview B. I can be defined like Abaraka. You know,
okay, Abaraka Musa, thank you. I think I must on a comment. I did answer the question on the OIC, but maybe Musa missed it. But Uncle Larry, go ahead. The floor is yours.
No, yeah, man, for OIC to Walla BJ. OIC is an Islamic organization, global Islamic organization.
Yeah.
Conference ning ika bankolu they apply for it, and the right to host it is given.
Yeah. Normally,
when it is given, they would put some financial packages together to help you execute.
Yeah.
In the case of the Gambia, Ngamera, originally the idea was to build about 100 kilometers of roads.
Yeah.
And out of that 100 kilometers worth of roads, $32.5 million was given as a highly concessional grant.
Yeah.
Which is part of a 60 million loan for 30 years. So basically,
yes, 60 million won't concessionary loan, interest rate for 30 years. Yeah.
30 years. So that is very clear. Where the misinformation, disinformation comes in is whether or not the Gambia is ready, prepared to successfully host a conference the magnitude of an OIC. Because Honey United Nations, OIC, the membership Seattle UN General Assembly. So it's not an easy thing. Lately, there have been a lot of back and forth in the media, private media, saying, "Well, OIC bekelele, OIC tekel." You know what my humble opinion is? Mampare follow.
Ready follow. Well, iko December la kotenge. Ole for the iko December la bekela.
Mampare follow.
December ta baila. Okay, just Mr. Uncle, thank you for clarifying that. Musa Sisay, just Musa Saidi. I don't know why I keep saying Musa Sisay. Musa Saidi, Tonyalom, yeah, because Uncle Yemen for OIC will ika right to host the Bankol and Gambia is given the right to host this time. Packages should all kind of but the resource mobilization work host container utility. So we near Dila Musa, a television resources not mobilized. You seek funding from maybe Saudi, IDB, different organizations, African Development Bank.
Even individual members of the OIC.
Even individual member nation states from it's a bit of funding, then you do your thing. So Gambia be all initially this is $100 million project, and we'll break down all kind of putting a great transmission network. Energy is I think it's something like for 32 million for 20 something million you allocate.
And in water.
And in water, yes. Then out of that, 62 million was going to be on a concessionary loan interest for 30 years. But all this work started when Lamin Sane was the chief executive officer.
Yes.
But obviously,
Yes.
Our head hit against the wall when Sane resigned, and then Yankuba Diba came in. In fact, this Yankuba Diba very interesting. A consultative committee, draft consultative committee. I understand he was the mole inside. I tell you information on the Barrow from the that's why he got compensated. He was the mole. I tell him very well though meeting on a near film Katarek, I borrowed brief. Banco is so difficult to put banco with a mobile interest no account. So I can information on the consultative committee in draft constitution. So in time limit, I borrowed brief all journal they want to take this to retroactive. So Barrow in Kalamuta, even before the draft was released. So he called this young company reportedly the current chief of executive of OIC. I tell you information on the Barrow. So and then but it's not that this is going to be OIC coming OIC in so near dealer it's like a resource mobilization of the member countries. So more success how effective you are to negotiate those deals. Because Gambia has failed in that aspect right now in terms of resource mobilization. So I'm most of the question of answer right now. So any other callers right now. So Uncle, thank you for your time. Dole Yaya M Dabo question on Yininkaja. But let me read what he said. Mr. Sedele, can you ask Mr. Sisay about security reform bills regarding reforms that will reform all the security sectors, more especially the military, police, and immigration departments, will modernize to meet 21st century. So, yellow question I understand. He's talking about reforms. Now, civil service reforms. You did touch on that briefly.
Yeah, we needed a broader public sector reform program, which will. I like coining this phrase to say the public sector reform program has to result into a public service that is fit for purpose and which can deliver transformational development results for Gambians. Fit for purpose, transformational development results. Transformational development results for me means you are able to feed yourself, clothe yourself. When you get sick, you go and cure yourself. The facilities are there to do that for you. And then you have 3 square meals a day. Nima Molla life transform. Ila development impact Bukawara. So that is part of the reforms that I always like to talk about. The second reform I like to talk about is the security sector.
Yeah.
Now, example of the MP Qatar police station auto for somebody who has been caught in an audio pitting the tribes against one another for conflict should definitely have been arrested.
And interestingly, Uncle, they went and arrested the lady in Banjul. Allegedly were hate speech against Barrow,
Against Barrow, yes. So what in my interview with Peter and then repeating it now, I'm saying there is one set of laws which is applied differentially depending on your political affiliation.
Yeah, true.
War is not respect for rule of law. That is law for people who know who to talk to.
Yeah. Thank you.
Security sector reform, the police that were brutalizing all of us during Jammeh's time are the same police that are brutalizing all of us again. Iman reform. The army, I have to say, I'm seeing encouraging signs of reforms in the army. Mbukaje ibe dakela political campaign kuokon. Mbukaje fanang, they become so partial that when people go out on the streets, the army shows up like they used to in the previous regime.
Yeah.
The PIU is doing that for this current regime free of charge. PIU, the telephone they will come and beat you up if they say go and beat somebody up. So reform measures, people who have been perpetrators of oppression and violence against citizens have no business donning our uniforms. They should be flushed out of the system. They should be held accountable for their actions.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to reconciliation, general reconciliation, Bekela, you have to have the law taking its normal course. At the end of that, the reconciliation part is at the tail end of things. But we can't get to that because the people who oppressed us on the Jame are the same people who are oppressing us now.
True.
Jamela play book nyulka wala play.
Yeah. Ko jamela system wala Gambia uncle. Afango bala jato tiji bala system wala Gambia.
The system wala bijan. Yalo from the beginning of this.
There is an NPP member, Mealongo, Atemu Bantaba fan lady. But in Kainengo, why don't you call into the program instead of a text key? But I call Abga Hani back class from Bantaba fan. So
no.
Okay, but I can text Kenya now. Okay, I think Kina Akonyesehu, thank you for hosting the program. I really I agree with Uncle Larry that UDP has a lot of educated, intelligent people in the party with great wisdom, and surely he is one of them. But my problem with UDP, why can't they join Barrow to develop the country now that Barrow is the president, instead of just being an opposition and criticizing? And if UDP join Barrow and bring these great ideas on the table, surely Gambia will go forward. But UDP is just there criticizing the likes of Momodu Sabali, Sehu Sedri, and others. You are always there criticizing whatever Barrow does, but you never bring concrete ideas to develop our country. So the country belongs to all of us. He has written a lengthy message. The country belongs to all of us. And Barrow needs your help, because Gambia is suffering now because of UDP. It's just on this opposition, how many years? And everybody is losing now. So can't you just join Barrow and develop the country?
Yalon Seku. This one is peddling so much. I won't call it falsehoods, but he's peddling a dichotomy which cannot be reconciled.
Yeah.
Yalonte, when I was in the first interview with Peter Gomez, another person raised this issue. Why don't we join Barrow and work on the country? Personally, I don't have any problems joining with Barrow Kabanko Doku.
Yeah.
But in Tetem join Nola Barrow le bente kumandila. Ngo Barrow eko womari community na usenu nim Barrow te keno ke nko esi keno kilintile. But you have to remember that the authority to call Usenu and to engage rests directly, squarely on Adama Barrow, not on Usenu.
Yeah.
How many times, Lenka Foko, we are ready to work with anybody for the betterment of this country? Yalo nimol konte fanko UDP le mu problemote akan sunule. Yalo mena akan sunu. Yalo mena akan sunu. Nyimmen kadiamu ta malon ko ntenim Barrow nene sita le kadiamu unsa support no nyame. Yalo mari mawolo.
Amawolo.
Mo kotem fanan bije. For break nyin nata 2018. Ate nyanta focus la dame wala nyinti ko nim Barrow ya kango dila kango salin. Barrow buka kango salin.
But yalo mona na nyimbo ala ko ben jele kan.
He ajela kute balafa for me ntefe balafa le moko because his heart is in the right place. He knows we can make a contribution. But where he is patently wrong is to assume that why can't UDP just join Barrow. UDP cannot just join Barrow. Barrow has to
That's
join
too simplistic.
UDP.
It's too simplistic,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is a very simplistic narrative that they are pushing. And no more men can push. It can push Nine Kamako, Kafoka opposition away. Famerante opposition ya diatan. Jumala nene long opposition ya to Bangkokan. Now, coming to ideas, we have brilliant ideas. Afolani reader eko, I na manifesto ta, I 5-point agenda nyinta. Nkanyin document memfanango for building a new Gambia. Ninga launch, let him read, take a copy. He will see that we are miles ahead of his NPP in terms of ideas on moving this country in the right track.
Ongola Baraka, Yalong. Interestingly, I don't understand that why should NPP guys peddle with this? Because it's hypocritical on their part. UDP leadership got yanked from Barrow cabinet in 2019. Alaji Hussein Dabo, the late Lamin Dambodip, Alaji Amadou Son. And what Barrow told people, me NPP mole jabi kanjande ko ñunu mu tiña lalati namman sa kunda ñu lati namman du ko kilo ni mo koy mu tiña lati why would you go yafo mari ko kenna he ma ko le ka du ko because already wo mari yete categorize le mu tiña lati you are mu tiña lati you are spoiler. So ndolu we are not the problem ndol ben opposition yale kala ko Barrow kon dol ngati na te man du ko kilo when this Barrow come here for he speaks from both sides of his mouth. Barole Laju Senuda Tendujan, NDP, Akona Minister Fula, Foreign Affairs, and Finance Minister, don't Kendo Menke National Development Plan, what pledges or Mealonko $1.7 billion, Mealonko, Ayanta Nalanu, Promoli transform our country to the middle income status. That was the vision. Okay? Very good ideas on that national development. But bring UDP more NDP far away. Hansa NDP book of. So
in fact, Seku, to buttress your point, that NDP saying NPP is claiming it is their NDP.
Really?
Oh yes. Yalong nga folen na interview to Fananko for NDP. It was formed during the coalition.
Yeah.
And all the parties made serious contributions to the formulation of that NDP. So Barrow is implementing a collective idea as embodied in that NDP. He cannot take ownership of it. He cannot even claim ownership of it because coalition only. Now, into the manifesto, I presided over the formulation of that manifesto, and in 5 point, you people, you know the history of it.
Yeah.
Nga economy dissectly, we identified all the bottlenecks to sectoral development, and we crafted the 5-point agenda in manifesto to answer those bottlenecks. Natra nunko Barrow is sincere. Or these NPP guys who are saying Albo opposition, if they are sincere, they should be putting pressure on Barrow to pick up the phone and call the UDP leader to say nga kachabang. And nga fanam fole na first interview nga fole in second interview afelemba fole te fanan na program. I'm beginning to sound like a broken record on that. Kafoko, UDP cannot take that initiative on its own. The initiative, the authority, and the office prestige rests with the president and his office. He's the only one who can trigger this kind of discussions between him and the rest of the parties. And Amanya Nakela UDP Damanti. He could
sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
He could invite other party leaders because Nalonko Mama Kande Kadiamu Nyamen sign. He is miles apart from Barrow. They are not thinking the same way.
But he attacked the personality of Mama Kande.
Yes.
Possibility.
So you know. But because while Barrow is attacking the personality of Mama Kande, he's consistently attacking the personality of Hussein Udab.
Exactly.
So even more attack like Abukam being attacked wrong being alone the memo, tete moto for.
Yeah, Abuko attack. Yeah.
Yeah. So naka mama kande attack, aka koto useno attack. On the one hand, atala mol bembe doke kafa albo position aliena ale join kabaro doke. On what basis do you do that?
No, nyindong. In fact, I have a flight text here. I could say you guys made a good point. To be honest, me, I'm not going to vote for Barrow.
Well, good for him. At least
I'm not sure whether I will vote for UDP, but surely Barrow is not going to get my vote because I am annoyed whenever he talks about UDP, Dabo. This is the problem. Even some of his supporters are getting upset with what he's doing. I go UDP at Barrow.
Barialom fadanga for nko walatin nko UDP nko ko. You should take pride in the fact that UDP and Usainu Dabo lives rent free in Barrow's mind.
Yeah.
This is what he's confirming.
Yeah.
Because Abuka Femfono, Usainu UDP. He has no vision for the country.
He has no vision. No ideas. Zero ideas. Zero vision.
So at least I have to congratulate this person for doing a due diligence.
Yeah, no, this individual is a very, yes, I got Barrow support, but he's open to all ideas.
Yes, and I can see that, and I think your listeners can see it also.
Yeah, I have followed for them. I think at Elaforo, he listens to this program, Bantaba, because I'm a very big critic of I'm a very big critic of Barrow, but then he likes the way I take on issues because he's a fan of this platform. But love that community. But I definitely I isolation with UDP. I got a UDP, maybe.
No, Jama. This menu kanyil fenke Jama ni pro baba ke. It's a dalila koyo fonole why they don't like UDP.
Yeah.
Ita fonole. Wala nanteko. He needs to be congratulated for having an open mind and for actually having the honesty and the decency of saying, "Na support Lebarinta support Nola because of A, B, C, D, E."
Yeah. No,
now, I wish he would
explicitly. I call a family from the Cartofel Barrow next year. I can't because
but
Barrow at the form upset in the Nim Barrow double la Kumufa.
Yeah, but he needs to now translate that into a critical self-introspection, why he dislikes UDP so much. Because now critical introspection he will come to one conclusion and one conclusion only. I'm left UDP because of a personality. I'm left UDP because of a tribe. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
So he needs to do that introspection. Now introspection, he can live with himself knowing that he has an open mind and he is using that mind to analyze the situation the country is in, and is deciding that this is the best way to support moving the country in a different direction. Now, he will have my respect eternally.
Yeah, Uncle Lare, thank you so much. Because by popular demand, we share this conversation. Thank you so much. It's over 3 hours, 32 minutes conversation. Quite a long time, but thank you. It's a very, very productive discussion. And thank you to the audience. Thank you to Wandifa, who's been giving me support in the background. Uncle Abarakabaki, thank you for your time. Relax. But now I get this time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure coming back again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, mbadi wala Barakabaki wala kita Uncle Lare Sisay. Katamin so the Gamali but so cool. It's past 11 in the UK. Sorry, past midnight in mainland Europe. So UDP Online Bantaba, certainly I will take a break tomorrow until Monday. We'll be back in Current Affairs show program. Summer is Father's Day in the UK. For those of us in the UK, tomorrow is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day in advance to everybody in the UK. Tomorrow is 18th of June, Father's Day in the United Kingdom. So Allah Barakabaki, thank you to everybody. Thank you to all the listeners. calling ke now the program done na jam for what do in nata jam so ni audio be janjan na le katamen kala inshallah and by janjan le follow no so that people can have flavor of what Uncle Lare Sisay said here Daba fana mbafo kanko party leader and deputy secretary general of party I mean the victory celebration in Banjul Rahim Ali Ulo mayor of Banjul and chairman of West Coast Yankuba Dabo it will be a massive victory celebration in Banjul right now so alabarakabaka came out say the Maladi Esjame alabarakabaka some people hate UDP because they had issue with some of the UDP militants. Okay, all right. If you have an issue with some of the UDP militants, those militants don't represent the party. So I don't think that should make you dislike the party or not support the party. Having a problem with say who said the lead should not make you not support UDP. Amy may remember YouTube. Subscribe to our channel, Bantaba channel on YouTube. Please do subscribe to it and follow our videos also on YouTube and on Facebook for the video, okay, short videos. Thank you so much for everything. So Allah barakabake, the program will stop for what you do.
Ale fonsaje de ale fonsaje ale fonsaje ale fonsaje munada bosanka baluo ale fonsaje me useni dabo julalema ale fonsaje juloka manla maje ale fonsaje ni aja manla maje ale fonsaje suluo simmeneleda ale fonsaje useni masata alale amansa andi ale bonsai mbaro da bodima ale bonsai mbaro da bodima ale bonsai enu mukunda da bodima ale bonsai alale bate jola ale bonsai mansole bate jola ale bonsai aye gambia bondi bata kono ale bonsai maje molu bele sewota ala be nyinkela ale bonsai manso be nyinkela ale bonsai usen bota nyani dobo ale bonsai dobo kai usen ale bonsai anata kombo tumami ale bonsai londo nata kulli ale bonsai o kaelo adabo